listeners and readers of AwardsWatch.com. This is the Awards Watch Podcast, episode 267. I'm your executive editor, Ryan McQuade, and joining me today is our associate editor, Sophia Ciminello,
Hi, guys.
Dan Bayer,
Hello, everybody.
and Jay Ledbetter.
Good afternoon, because we're recording this in the afternoon. Maybe you're listening to it at another time, but I am saying good afternoon.
Way to timestamp it. What
Thank
are
you.
you? What are you, me on Director Watch?
Well, you do it. Yeah, a
I
little
do
more
it way too
specifically.
much. Yeah, I know. We are
Let's see.
here.
What's the main story on the Wall Street Journal today?
For
Let's-
God's sakes, don't
right.
start your chaos already. We are here for the last episode. We have one more episode coming out, but this is like a live episode, I guess you could say. And our last retrospective of the year. We're doing a retrospective over the 2019 Oscars, the 92nd Academy Awards, only 5 years ago. But just like last year in 2018, we thought we'd have save the most chaotic one for last, most lively one, I think, for last, and the most recent one for last. It's been 5 years. And nothing has happened in the world in the last 5 years since 2019. Everything's been fine. And, because it wasn't like when Parasite won Best Picture, that everything turned out to be okay in 2020, right, guys?
It was the last good thing that happened.
It was-
before
yeah,
the
it was
world
the
went
last
to
hurrah.
shit.
Yeah, I actually think there's been some stuff. that's
Oh,
happened
yeah?
since then.
What's
Yeah.
happened, Jay?
Oh boy! Well, the Braves won the World Series.
Well, nobody cares about that.
There was a global pandemic.
Oh, okay. Well, people do care about that.
I had a child.
That's true. That's the most important thing.
You
That's
said it,
big.
not me.
Yeah. Well, if you don't say it, then I'm going to send the audio to your wife.
And before anybody says anything, my wife had a child. I understand.
You were just there, right?
Yeah.
I'm
No,
sorry.
Your wife birthed the child. You have the child.
Yeah.
Yes, I possess the child like property.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It is a walking,
Precisely.
talking tax credit. Yes. No,
And free
they're-
labor.
exactly.
Yeah.
When they're old enough, you can
Yeah.
carry that thing. We were talking about pole saws before this, which is awesome. You can't wait for that day, Jay, when you're going to use the pole saw with the kid. It's going to be great.
What do you mean when? I got a 2-year-old pole saw user.
I kind of want to see Jet hold the
That would be
pole saw.
amazing.
That would be the best Christmas
Oh my God,
present I've
no.
ever seen. I want to see it now.
That is a Christmas card that I would love to
Yes.
get.
Yeah. I'm sure then your wife would definitely kill you, Jay. But 2019, obviously we all knew each other in 2019, so we don't have to play too much reminiscence on that. So let's just dive in to, I guess, the feeling that was Oscar night. We were all kind of going in. There was a little bit of some optimism about Parasite winning, but of course this was the night that we kind of still thought that 1917 could pull off the win. Sophia, your thoughts on this Oscar Best Picture winner and this Oscar night in general?
In 2020, early 2020, when these Oscars took place, I was at a party for them at Metrograph in New York, which is a very fun space for movie related parties. And I just remember thinking, oh, it's going to be such a bummer if 1917 wins,
To
because
be at
in a
that
way,
place?
it
And
just felt like it did feel like, with COVID coming, which we didn't know how bad it was going to be just yet.
there were
It did
rumblings.
yeah, there were rumblings, and it did feel like this last hurrah of sorts, like I said at the beginning. So while I was not enthusiastic about some of the winners, I just remember being so happy that Parasite ended up beating 1917, because it's such a cool winner. It's such a different winner, and it felt like something that everyone could be excited about. It's not my favorite movie of the year or my favorite movie nominated for Best Picture, which we can talk about when we get there, but to have something that felt like it opened the doors for so many people on Korean cinema, on international films. It really is it might be the signature Best Picture winner of our lifetimes so far, really, in what it's done to, and will still do to change what the Oscars look like and really the cinematic landscape. So this will be a fun one to talk about.
Oh, that's a Now I got to think about, is it, you're saying the most influential
I
or
think
or
we
the
don't know
best?
the influence of it yet, but I think if we're looking at important Best Picture winners of our lifetimes, it's really like this and Moonlight for me are the two that I always come back to that feel like of this era.
Oh, this
They're
era. Yeah.
saying something different
Yeah.
about film and what
Yeah.
the preferential ballot and everything like that of what can happen and why that change I think was important, whether I agree with the outcome of it all the time or not.
Yeah. No, that's, no, that's a fair point. I mean, it also kind of feels like over the last 5 years, as we've become, the growth of Letterbox, the growth of cinema expansion and everything, Parasite is one of those films was definitely at the forefront. And I do think you see its trickle effects, especially with how international the Academy has become. Some of the selections, the nominations, the certain films that have made it in. I don't think two films getting into international feature or director or things like that happen. I don't think a Drive My Car even probably happens without a Parasite. I even think it being such a cool winner, I don't even think in Everything Everywhere All at Once kind of happens. It kind of opens up a little bit of a door for a movie like that, which is very much different than what the normal Academy Best Picture winners have become. So I do think that you are right there. I think it's one of the more modern influences on the current state and probably going forward for that. That is a good legacy to have for itself. But Dan,
Hmm.
your thought, how are you that night? How are you? You were, I assume, like everyone else online. There's a great video if you've never seen it of Eric freaking out online when this happened. When this happened, but overall, your thoughts on maybe not just Parasite, but the night, the winners that we're going to talk about here today.
I overall was just really thrilled with this particular evening. I mean, like, coming off the previous year, anything may have been a huge step up.
That's
But
fair.
I mean, the fact that the pendulum swung so far in the opposite direction, I think is really fun in some of the categories not so much. But I think there is a really fun like chicken or the egg thing with Parasite and what you and Sophia were just talking about. Like, is Parasite the sort of catalyst that gave Academy members the green light to go for more international features and more weird sort of cinema? Or was Parasite a reflection of the work that the Academy had been doing to diversify its ranks and make it more international and younger and just generally speaking more diverse? Because this is the coolest Best Picture winner like in a while. And it was a movie that I remember seeing and going like, oh yeah, this is good. Maybe not as good as all the hype, but it's good. And then the, the further I got away from it and the more times I've seen it, it has a lot of staying power. It's incredibly sticky. It grew in my estimation every time I saw it. And I think that's one of the things that I really like about the fact that it won, that it is and immediately, yeah, this is a great movie. But then the more you watch it and the more you think about it, the more it just reveals itself to be a total masterpiece, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I remember having more issue with the ultimate nominees from this year than I
Yep.
did with the
We're going to talk about them.
winners. Oh, we will talk about that
Yeah.
because some of those nominees were really like some of the movies that they chose to just completely shovel aside. I'm like, really? Really? We're really not paying attention to this at all?
Yep.
Okay, sure. But and some of the movies that they did acknowledge only in certain categories was like, you got so close. You got
Yeah.
so close. But I liked this year. I liked
Yeah.
this year a lot.
It's a good year of movies. It is a very cool winner. It's maybe not the most
And I
popular
will say that that's a very
winner, but
nice
it is.
rewriting of history you did at the top there, Ryan, because if I remember, you went into this night thinking that neither Parasite nor 1917 was going to win. You, Mr. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
There was a path. I do think that Once Upon a Time I do think that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was the runner-up, and I still maintain that because I don't think 1917 was ever going to win Best Picture. That was more my stance that year.
Huh.
No Best Picture
Not
winner
how I
has
remember
won.
And you can't disprove them. So,
Well,
this is like not how I remember it, but
No Best
okay.
Picture winner has won Best Picture without editing or an acting nom
It's
since
true. Yeah.
like the first couple. So it was like 90 years of history.
Have any
on my
video
side.
games won Best Picture either? I mean, that would also be a case against 1917.
Man, that's
I mean,
tough.
it's technically not based on one.
Snap.
Yeah,
so
that's
iffy. You know?
it's an original video game.
Yeah, I don't know. The VR for Green Book did win the year before, so that was.
I love that game.
I know you do, buddy. Makes you feel right at home. Jay,
Yes.
2019 is a movie year. I think it is a very rich year. You and I, we reviewed a lot of movies that year. We reviewed a lot of movies that obviously the Academy didn't go in love. But this is a year where you do have Parasite, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Little Women, Us, Uncut Gems, The Irishman, Knives Out, more and more and more films like I could mention. Jay, do you love this movie year? Do you think this is a very good movie year, buddy?
I think it's a great movie year. I mean, just look at the filmmakers who made films in this year. It's like a who's who of great filmmakers, right? I mean, you didn't even mention Scorsese, you know.
No, I did. I mentioned
Oh, you
The
did?
Irishman. You're not paying attention.
No, well,
this is what we do on our show.
This is yeah.
I was like, is this an
I
episode of
podcast with
Director
Ryan
Watch?
too much, but
Every episode is a episode
yeah,
of Director
but
Watch.
it was a great year. And I remember I did watch this Oscars. So and I just remember continuously, or the lasting image obviously is director Bong just up there like, oh man, I didn't expect this again.
Mm-hmm.
I took 2 more shots backstage. This rules. And
Bong
as
shouting out Scorsese is a top 10 Oscars moment.
I
It's
love
so
that.
beautiful.
I love
It
the.
is.
I love him going from Martin Scorsese and how much Scorsese means to him. Quentin, you highlighted my movies all these years. I love you. And then Sam and Todd. You know what I mean? Like, fuck you. You know, you fucking guys. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
that was very funny.
Yeah.
It was like when Scorsese was like, yeah, I saw the Joker. I get it. Or no, did he say he didn't see it?
No, he said he didn't have time.
Roundtables with Scorsese and Todd Phillips are incredibly
They're so
rewatchable.
great.
They're amazing.
They're
Highly recommend.
It's actually my number one movie of the year is watching like Todd Phillips' life suck out of him when he's like, and you watch, did you watch the
I
film?
already did that.
No, I didn't watch the film, and
Yeah, he
I
said he
just
didn't watch it.
I just gave you that EP credit, you know, just because you wouldn't shut the fuck up. Like that's what it totally feels like.
I understand what he's doing. I didn't need to see it. That's brutal, absolutely brutal. But I mean, if you look at the winners, it's a lot of people, or the acting winners. It's like overdue people. That's kind of the theme for this year. Although some deserving, even if the award does feel equally as for the performance as it does the fact that they've been around for a while and don't have one. And then there's one win that's like, huh? but it was also inevitable the night of. So it's an interesting year. I thought 1917 was going to win. When the night started, I remember.
Well, you are
I'm not a professional prognosticator. But
I don't know.
God, that movie is gonna win, and I'm gonna be annoyed because there's so many good movies nominated. That might be my third least favorite of the nominees.
Third least favorite. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a couple real stinkers in there.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, that's the thing. It's such a rich year of movies. And then and then there's like half the lineup I like, and half of them I'm like, we could just get those out. That's why we're here today, folks. We're gonna get some of these damn films out of here. We're gonna replace because I do agree with you guys. Like, actually, I agree with Dan. There are so many great movies this year, and then the choices they made, especially in these acting categories, are so uninspired. And then, you know, I will say this: over the last couple of years, they've had better lineups. And overall, like, there are just some nominees here. You're like, you guys just really didn't try. It felt like you didn't try. Like, there were absolutely huge celebrated performances from critics, from the industry that just didn't break through. And you just kind of wonder, like, it felt like even a little bit of continuance from the year before where there was some defiance to certain things. And yes, you can give them credit for giving it to Parasite. But the acting win that Jay is referring to, that we'll talk about in a little bit, it's one of the most baffling Oscar wins I think I've seen in recent memory.
Is
It
it
is.
though? Like,
It's baffling in terms of like we coalesced around this. This is what we did, and it's.
I don't know. Always made perfect sense to me that they
I was gonna
coalesce
say,
around it.
I don't
Not
even
because
know
it's
which one you're
necessarily
talking about.
good.
I'm
but,
gonna just say
like,
it. Best Actress is a horrid win, and we don't
I
need
just
to
think the
do.
narrative's weird.
I don't think that's
Yeah.
the worst acting win of the night.
I agree.
I do. I think it's one of the worst Best Actress winners in like the last 30 years, 40 years.
I don't even know if
think.
I don't know that I disagree with that, but the Joaquin thing to me, I can
I
twist
could
my
see
brain
it.
and be like, hasn't had one, big
Yeah.
successful movie, culturally impactful movie, sure.
Yeah.
Judy doesn't exist, already has an Oscar,
Yeah.
but it is like a typical Oscar performance, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. We can talk about it when we get
Very
there.
typical.
No
Oscar
one's rewatching
performance.
Judy. You know what I mean? Like,
This
I
just
would
is
even.
such a typical Oscar win to me.
Yeah, it's so
for
typical.
so many reasons.
Yeah. But will it survive?
We'll
see.
get there.
We'll get there. Below the line categories. We usually like to highlight these when Josh Parham is here, and we're going to continue to do that as well here with Josh's absence. Jay, is there a
Yes.
specific category here below the line, or artisans, as Karen Peterson likes to say for us? She hates the word below the line. Crafts. That you want to highlight here, buddy, that you think is really good, like a good
Yeah,
one.
along those lines of the video game thing that we were talking about with 1917, cinematography. Look, I love Roger Deakins. Not every time there is something sort of revolutionary with cinematography is it a gimmick. For example, my favorite film of 2024 is Nickel Boys, which has what some people would call a gimmick, but I say is like a very important storytelling tool that enhances what the movie is trying to do. 1917 is a gimmick. I don't think that the fake Warner style adds anything to the film. And it does make it feel like a video game where you're going like checkpoint to checkpoint to checkpoint. I understand from like an aerobic standpoint, if you're like, this is athletic filmmaking, this is really impressive. Sure, it is. But that's not really what I think we should necessarily be rewarding. And I think there were some gorgeous films that weren't even nominated. And The Lighthouse is a cool nom, though. But I mean, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which is just absent in general.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen in my life. The Irishman is obviously like gorgeous. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is doing some really interesting period stuff. And Joker is a pastiche. I mean, it is what it is. But 1917 to me is maybe the most annoying win, and I say that as a Roger Deakins like stan.
Well, you
But
had dinner with
it's
him last
annoying.
week. Did you tell him that?
Yeah, I did see him a couple weeks ago, and no, I did see him at a screening, but he's so funny. He's such a curmudgeon, and his wife is so sweet. It's so funny. But
Yeah. But that win does make sense, though. Like, the
it
way
makes
in which-
total sense.
It makes sense from the standpoint of like that was the damn campaign for that whole
Doesn't
movie.
mean it's not annoying.
Oh no, I agree. It's not the best in the lineup, and it's certainly, and it's also just like you gave it to him for a pretty great win in Blade Runner 2049, and then it's like this is the second one.
The
Like,
Deakins avalanche.
Yeah, and he's had like so many great ones, and it just feels weird for it to be one of the wins for him. But that sometimes is just how the Oscars go, right? Dan, their category you want to highlight?
I mean, I honestly, I would have highlighted cinematography as well. I think that's
All
a
right.
really great category. I think all of that work is pretty freaking great. Maybe not my winner, but I think it's really hard to discount any of the work in any of that, even in the movies that I don't like as much. The other one that I both love and still wish I could tweak a little is actually best production design. I adore the production design in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Parasite, especially. I think it's so cool that Parasite got nominated for best production design because that house, like, please, it absolutely deserved. Probably should have won, but And I think I really like the other three nominees too. There are nice little details in at least one set of each of those that I find are really sell me on the world of the film.
Yeah. Okay. Sophia?
Well, production design was going to be mine in the same way that cinematography was going to be Dan's. I really like the production design of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love the miniatures that they use. I love the way that the lights go up on all of those iconic
Mhm.
LA establishments at the end. And I feel like it just does a really good job of recreating the time period in that world. There are just so many different sets too. And anytime I go to LA, I think about the movie and the production design. And also love the Parasite nomination. I remember when that happened, just thinking that was such an inspired, really cool pick. And it's not a coincidence that I picked the category where we don't have Joker. This is one of the few places where it's not mentioned.
Joker is like a technically well done movie. I did not leave that
But
movie
to
being like
what
that was.
end?
Oh, I know. I mean, I agree.
I can't.
Jay's a big Folie à Deux guy, though.
Mm.
Have not seen.
Yeah? No?
I
No.
haven't seen it either, but now that it's
It's
on streaming,
It's-
I'm curious.
Ooh, it's bad.
Just for
It's
Gaga
real
alone.
bad. It's real bad.
It's
Real bad.
it is an interesting exercise though in how to make a sequel to $1 billion movie and burn it all to the ground.
That's
Todd
a sequel that
Phillips.
you really didn't want to make.
That's
Yeah.
Todd Phillips' thing.
Like,
Hangover
Yeah.
2 is a middle finger to people who liked Hangover 1, especially Hangover 3 is like,
I was gonna
oh
say
my
Hangover
God,
3
why
is-
do you guys like these movies?
Movies,
And I
yeah,
think Joker 2 it seems to be, having not seen it, it seems like it's kind of a similar thing.
yeah, but it's aggressively just a very nasty little film. I think
Well, I'll
Joker
keep kicking
Joker
it down the road then.
There you go. I want to highlight maybe the worst category of the night, and that's best makeup and hairstyling. I think that this is a chaotically just bad.
Very chaotic.
It's a very stupid category. Not only I mean, like 1917, rub some dirt on it. Like that's what it kind of feels like. Makeup work, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, a movie nobody has talked about
A movie
ever.
But they
weirdly about
already
immigration.
nominated the main makeup work for, like, come on.
What, Jay?
What are we doing?
Maleficent, Mistress of Evil is a movie about immigration. It's very weird.
Really? I've never
Yeah.
seen it, so I'll take your word.
Have seen that one.
Okay.
Maleficent is a movie about women's bodily autonomy, so
There you go.
that totally
Maleficent,
tracks.
Low-key deep series.
You got Joker, you got Judy, and another movie that was the winner that is a movie that we could just burn to the ground, which is Bombshell.
Most
Yeah.
makeup and hairstyling.
It's just also the wigs. That's some ugly ass wigs, and I feel like we could have found something else. Like this whole category, we could just. I know that we're not replacing this, but like we're better than this.
I know
as
we
a
don't like the
society.
movie. They did a pretty good job with
I was gonna
Charlize.
say,
It was
I
pretty
actually think she
impressive.
looks a lot like Megan
Charlie-
Kelly.
Charlize
in
is
this.
perfect, and Lithgow is like so creepily accurate.
They just used the same suit from Gary Oldman from Darkest Hour and left it out in the sun a little bit. That's all.
or the same suit from when he was Churchill.
Yeah, that's in Darkest Hour.
No, but he was Churchill too.
Oh, was
wasn't
he Churchill? Oh, yeah, he was in
Yeah,
The
in
Crown.
Yeah, in the TV
there you
movie.
go. They just are using. He just brought that suit over. Jay, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
But then, like, I just think of Nicole Kidman's wig, and just some of the Bombshell, a movie that no one has talked about ever since.
From the director of Austin Powers.
Yeah, exactly.
Your next
Exactly.
director watch series.
Oh,
There
we
go.
will.
Yes, Jay
You heard it
Roach.
here first.
We'll never do
Jay
that.
on
series.
Jay.
Oh my God, Jay on Jay.
The people demand.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that some of these craft categories they've got like 2 or 3 good nominees mostly. And then like there's just a bunch of like, what the fuck are you doing nominees? Like Joker or Rise of Skywalker or
Truly, that
or
score
The Rise of
makes me
Skywalker
upset.
stuff. Oh, yeah.
You know,
Score. Oh,
I will say, I still think of it as a great winner. I do think Ford v Ferrari is a very good editing winner,
yes.
and a very good movie in general. And Mangold knows how to make effective, great, entertaining, rewatchable movies. And
That's the dad flick of the year.
It is the dad flick of the year. It's one of them, I think.
One of the best dad flicks of the decade. Let's
I will talk about maybe a performance that was in the race here in a little bit that we can talk about with that film. But I thought that was a good editing win, and wanted to highlight that as well. All right. I'm going to do one last thing before we get into our game here real quick, and it's everybody's favorite box office game. Can you guys give me the top 10 for 2019 box office worldwide box office?
Joker.
Yes, Joker was number 6.
My
Frozen
favorite movie
2.
of all time, Avengers Endgame.
Avengers Endgame, at the time, the highest grossing film of all time, was number 1.
Not adjusted for inflation.
Not adjusted for inflation, obviously, but it took down Big Jim. And then Big Jim took it right
Not
back.
in my world.
Yeah.
Took it right back.
No,
Toy
like
Story
factually, Sophia, it took down Big Jim.
I'm aware, but I'm just saying not in my
Well, Big Jim got it back,
non-factual
so you don't
space.
have to worry. You don't have to worry about it. Big Jim got it back.
Look, the only thing that matters is adjusted for inflation.
Exactly.
That's the only box office gross that matters.
All
So
right.
we have Avengers. You said Frozen 2. Dan?
But Ryan didn't say.
Oh
if
yes,
it was correct or
Frozen.
not.
Frozen.
Although I
2,
know it is.
number 3.
Toy
on the
Story
year.
4.
Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4, number 8.
I didn't do as well
The
as I
Lion
thought I was
King.
going to.
The Lion King.
Yeah,
John Favreau's The Lion King. Number 2.
Oh,
1
Star
point.
Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Rise of Skywalker, number 7. So you guys are missing 4, 5, 9, and 10.
Oh boy.
I mean, look, we all know that the 2 popes made this list, so we can just move on.
Those 2 popes made $2 at the box office. What are you talking about?
Was the Aladdin live action remake this year?
That is correct. That made
Oh,
a
God,
billion.
that was
That made
the
$1
year too.
billion,
Oh.
and that is number 9.
One of the
Yikes.
better of that collection of very bad movies. So it's like bad instead of really,
I
really
don't
bad.
know.
That's what I'm-
Jay, you're not going to get anybody on your side with that one.
Was there another Marvel movie this year?
Oh, what Captain Marvel did.
That was
right?
number 5.
Okay.
Captain Marvel. So you
So
got
do we have
4
one left?
and 10. 4 and 10.
There another Marvel?
Maybe.
Do we
Is
have a
there
Spider-Man
Spidey?
movie that year?
Spider-Man Far From Home.
The
There we go.
Gyllenhaal one.
The Gyllenhaal. Yes. It had $3 million more than Captain Marvel, and that made it number 4 on the year. So number
So now
10.
we need 10. All right. I'm just gonna assume there was a Fast and Furious movie this year.
No, there wasn't.
Jay, you are on the right track, but unfortunately, my friend, Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw was number 11
course.
on the list. Just missed out.
I'm
40
gonna
million.
guess that I haven't seen number 10. So I might need to.
Did
I
How to
think-
Train Your
myself.
Dragon make it?
How
The
to Train
last
Your
How to-
Dragon: The
No.
Hidden World was number 14.
Okay.
I know it wasn't top 10.
Who is in the film?
I think if I said who's in the film, it would give it away.
Was it?
Oh,
was
well,
it chapter
ob-
2 there?
It chapter 2 was not.
That didn't do as well as the first
That was
one.
number
I mean,
16.
Look, dude, we are all missing the obvious box office sensation that was Alita Battle Angel.
Oh, of
Alita
course.
Battle
Oh my
Angel was
God.
number 21.
That's actually higher than I thought it was.
It
Gonna
was
be.
$404 million.
Is it?
This movie made
My
double
God,
that.
I don't know. Is it a sequel?
It is
gotta be
technically
the sequel,
a
but-
sequel-ish.
Ish.
It's based off.
Technically a sequel.
It's based off an existing property, but it is not technically about the previous film that it is based on. It's a sequel. in a lot of
Oh,
ways.
Oh, Jumanji.
Jumanji: The Next Level, number
That was
10.
the
Is that the second Jumanji, or is that the first one?
Is that the second one? I thought it was the first one.
Yeah, that's got that's.
Oh, it is the second one. Sorry,
So
I
that
always
is
get them
the
all
sequel.
mixed up.
Second
that's
one.
right.
It is a
I
sequel.
haven't seen it.
It's a
So-
sequel to a legacy sequel.
Yes.
And Jumanji was
Movies
a
are
reboot.
thriving. We're doing
I
great.
didn't know when that other one came out. That's to be fair. I forgot that that was.
God.
I thought that the next level meant that it was the next one.
That's
in
the one
this-
with Danny DeVito.
Yes, and
yeah. Oh my
Danny
God.
Glover,
Yes.
right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Jay's number one of the year.
What
All
a
right.
film.
We're here to do our Oscar game. If you guys have never listened to one of these before, then what have you been doing all year? But you should really go back and listen to those. But if this is your first time, we will be doing the top 8 categories. We will be talking about these, and we will be replacing potentially winners and nominees. We have up to two replacements in the screenplay categories, the acting categories, and best director. Once we have made those replacements, we have our new lineup. We will then come together as a team and have a new winner. Since we are in an expanded lineup and we have 10 nominees, we can replace up to 5 films in best picture. And then, of course, give out a best picture winner. Okay? We will be starting in the category of best adapted screenplay. And Sophia, if you could please read the nominees.
You gave this to me on purpose.
No, I would never do that.
Our winner was Jojo Rabbit. Other nominees are The Irishman, Joker, Little Women, and The Two Popes.
They got 2 popes.
2 popes.
2 popes.
Yay.
There's 2 of them. 2 popes. Okay. We're going to have this conversation at a certain point. So we might as well have it now. Let's have the Jojo Rabbit conversation, please.
Jojo Rabbit is the worst movie we will talk about for this entire episode.
Didn't take that long.
And I don't even think it's close. I don't even think it's
not
close.
true because Judy is part of the conversation.
That is fair. Judy is right there as well.
Judy is bad. Jojo is like evil.
Careful. You are talking to a Jew.
I take it all back. Give it the win. Give it the win.
I
joke. Jojo Rabbit was actually like one of the biggest turnarounds I had on a movie this year. I remember watching it at TIFF and really loving it. And then the second time I watched it after it came out in release, I was like, I don't know that this still works for me in this, like, without the shiny and new, I didn't know what to expect. When I'm actually looking at it, I don't think this works as well as I thought it did.
Yeah.
There's still a lot that I like about it. I like that it has this real child's eye view on these things. And I think that perspective is really interesting, but I don't think that everything else that it does, it doesn't always straddle that line between serious and playful as well as it could. And I think that when it doesn't, it comes really close to ruining the movie as a whole.
Yeah. Well, I think that Jojo Rabbit, it might be my least favorite movie we talk about today. There are some others that come close, but I just feel like this movie's so pleased with itself. It is so happy with itself. And I don't think it really has anything to say about fascism at all. And it ruined Heroes for me as a song. And if I hear that now, I can't. Those kids dancing at the end, there's just something so cloying and manipulative about this film. And I think a lot of that is due to the screenplay and Taika Waititi's hands on it. And I do not care for it.
This is an Adam McKay style win in that it emboldened this man.
Man, the world has turned on both of those guys.
Yep, exactly.
The internet hates Taika now.
I've always been here. And welcome.
It's because he was in like everything the next 5 years. Like he felt like he was in animated movies. He directed 2 movies. He was like a bad guy in a really terrible Ryan Reynolds movie. Like he had multiple television shows. It was doing so many interviews. It was like we're inundated with Taika Waititi. And then, yeah, I mean, like I agree with Dan. Like at the time, I thought that this was actually like a pretty effective film. And then subsequent rewatches, it becomes lesser and lesser and lesser and lesser over the years. It's not the worst screenplay in this lineup, but it is one of the 2 worst screenplays in this lineup.
Get it out of here.
I think the Joker screenplay is just as bad.
Joker.
I think,
Joker's
I think it's
worse.
worse.
I think it's
actually think
worse.
it's
Much worse. At least
think-
Jojo Rabbit has some interesting original ideas in
They're
it.
both just
Joker is
toothless, self-congratulatory,
Ye-
just dreck.
And I know that- I know-
worse because it acts like it's so proud of itself, but it's so
Yeah.
obviously taking all of its ideas from other places that did it so much better.
And it also just too, like, aesthetically is trying to, we've seen films made in the world of Batman or Gotham or about the Joker. Just from that standpoint alone too, it's just not saying anything interesting. And it's also, if you're going to wrap the Joker into a conversation about mental health or have twists and turns in these things, it all, like you guys have said, it just all feels very derivative. And
Remember when the finance bros sing "Send in the Clowns"?
yeah, and it just has like these
God.
weird
Oh, yeah.
inserted moments. It's
Did not
so
make any sense.
self-congratulatory of I've watched a Scorsese movie too. And so I just don't like both of those. And I will say this, and I don't know what y'all's, I mean, I know Jay's feelings on this film, and we joke a lot. I mean, The Two Popes is not a good script, and I do not like Anthony McCartan as a writer at all. But it is the lesser of the three evils in this category, because I do think there's two screenplays that are actually good to great in The Irishman and Little Women, but we have to keep one of those other three, and I would much prefer to keep The Two Popes than Joker and Jojo Rabbit, which are some
There's
of
at
the
least some very good dialogue in this.
yeah. There's at least some good
they're
interactions
fun.
between
Yeah.
between those two popes.
I mean, I guess the
You know?
problem with that movie is that it is so screenplay forward because it
Mhm.
is kind of a chamber piece with
Yeah.
weird flashbacks. But yeah, it's not awesome, but it's definitely better than Joker and Jojo Rabbit. I remember when Joker came out and everybody was like, people are going to get killed over this movie. And I saw it and I was like, what are we
Over what?
talking about? This is
Yeah,
nothing.
like-
There was nothing
There's
here.
We had-
nothing there.
We had to, when we saw it, we went through security like we were going to a basketball game. You know what I mean? Like, and like, or like through the airport. Like they had to check our, my wife's purse, and they had to scan us and everything. With
And that
wands.
was in Texas.
And I was in Texas, and they had cops like roaming around movie theaters, and you guys know me. I'm not one to cause a fuss or anything, but I just sat there in the theater and I said out loud, I'm like, when the movie was over, I was like, this was worth all that security out in the front. And my wife went and hit me and said, shut up. We are not going to get killed in a Joker screening. That is the stupidest way to die. And we walked out of that theater and we were just, like Jay said, baffled by the collective experience of weirdly using a tragedy to prop up this piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like it was such a weird
Are you talking about
moment in
Jojo
time.
Rabbit or Joker?
Both. Yeah. And so, man, I see what you did there, Jay. But I think we can all agree Joker and Jojo Rabbit are out of this category.
An
So,
easier category that
Yeah.
we'll have, I think.
yes. Okay. Replacements.
The best screenplay of the year, give or take a couple of others, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Marielle Heller, a fucking genius. The director, she didn't write it, but you can still feel her influence on this screenplay. Tell me you can't.
Okay.
But geniusly structured, great dialogue, effectively tear-jerking.
I would also nominate Dark Waters.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
I really love that movie. I know that it's not my favorite Todd Haynes, but the way that it is, I think the way that he uses exposition here, the way that, it's a team, so he didn't write the screenplay, but the way that exposition is used, the way that the screenplay and the direction, I think, work together. I don't know, it's very dense, but it moves to me. And I think that the script is good. So I'll throw it out there.
Jay, you got one?
Transit.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, Are we?
I was wondering
that
if it was
counts.
this year.
Yeah,
or not.
It counts.
It was submitted for international. This
It
year,
was
I
that
think,
year
so,
too.
yeah,
No, we
yeah.
saw that in 2019, buddy. Yeah.
Okay. Transit, Christian Petzold.
Okay.
An incredible
That
film.
changes my other
And also throw out there
somewhat.
Invisible Life, fantastic Brazilian film based on a really good novel too.
An Invisible Life, I'll one up you. A Hidden Life.
Yes, A Hidden Life. I love A Hidden Life.
I still don't know how I feel about A Hidden Life.
Yeah,
I think I need to
at least as a
return to it.
screenplay.
I can give you that. It's hard to nominate a Malick movie for screenplay. I'll give you that.
I don't know. It is one of his more talkier.
I mean,
films.
it's different than his floaty, Knight of Cups era. But
That's for sure.
Mm.
I like it though.
Yeah,
like that pick.
I love
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Terrence Malick. The Terrence
Yeah.
Malick stan has entered the chat. Prepare to hear more and more about A Hidden Life.
no, I mean, like I love that film. And I love that. Yeah, Jay, I love that pick.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome, buddy. 4V Ferrari. That is up there, right? Was that an original? That was original. That was
original, I think.
Oh shoot! It's one of those biopics that sneaks up on you. Doctor Sleep for me. I would put that up. I love Doctor Sleep, and what that movie does with kind of the world of that book and the world of that cinematic sort of shining universe. And shout out to Cody Derricks because I bet he would agree with me as well too. So I'm gonna throw that one out there. Sophia, you had another one. I'm sorry.
I would also throw out Lorraine Scafaria's screenplay for Hustlers. Just put it on the table.
Good movie.
If the love in this club needle drop is in the script, I agree.
I would actually throw out there also How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. I think is exactly how you do a third movie in a franchise. And the way that all those characters grow over the course of those three movies, especially in this last one, is really very impressive.
I would agree, Dan. I do think, though, in terms of sequels in that universe, I do think the second one is a far superior film in terms of screenwriting and character development. But it is a very good film.
How to Train Your Dragon 2 rips.
Yeah, that movie rules.
The whole series, the whole trilogy
it's a good trilogy.
Perfect. And the fact that it has 0 Oscars makes me upset every time I think about it.
Yeah. I do love Toy Story 4, but I know that not many people do. And weirdly, those movies always feel more original than they are adapted. It's kind of like that it's kind of that weird sort of before trilogy sort of situation. It's like, we're going to put this in adapted. And so I just put a shout out.
I just generally don't understand sequels being adapted just because you're adapting the character. Like you're
continuing
story.
what you already created. Like it's it's your work. If it was your creation, like you're not adapting your
especially
own self.
Knives Out. Like that was bizarre. They have one character.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we think?
It sounded like there was some enthusiasm for Transit.
I like Transit. I like Dark Waters. I like Dark
let's
Waters.
do Transit.
And
then one more.
I like Dark Waters.
I like Dark Waters. I'm good with Beautiful.
You don't like Dark
Day.
Water? Beautiful Day?
I do not like Dark Waters at all. It's my least favorite Todd Haynes film.
Wonderstruck exists.
You are.
Wonderstruck is a good kids movie.
We could do.
It is good.
I would do A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I would be. Okay
I'm good with
that
that too. I think it's a well-structured movie. Interestingly structured movie.
Yeah.
I just wish that movie wasn't focused on what's his face. I'm not a big fan of A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, but consensus does reign. I like Hanks. I just don't like Matthew Reese.
Yeah. Oh, he's so good in it.
No, I would.
His perfect teeth.
I think that's what makes that movie interesting is that he's the center of the movie.
Yeah, I agree, Jay. And I think that just making it about Fred Rogers would be a much lesser movie.
They already have the documentary for that.
I know, but Hanks is so good. I don't really give a shit about that family.
Sounds like you want Judy.
I mean, give me more Tom Hanks in a movie instead of less. Yes, please. He's wonderful in that movie. So I do like Chris Cooper though. Chris Cooper's going to come up
Baller.
in a little bit later too. So, okay, Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood and Transit. I think that those will be the ones that we'll use. That's perfectly okay with me. They'll go alongside The Irishman, Little Women, and The Two Popes. Jay, your winner, sir.
I'm gonna go Little Women.
Oh.
It was the winner before for me, and it's the winner after we make the substitutions. I just think that is a marvelous piece of writing. And I haven't read the novel, but I know that everybody who has read the novel either hates the way they adapted it or loves the way they adapted it, like the changes they made to it. But whatever those changes were, they worked for me. I think that's a marvelous piece of writing. Again, a very interestingly structured movie that kind of separates it from the pack of movies like it.
Okay. Dan.
I do really love that screenplay for Little Women, but I have to go for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. The central idea of structuring it like an episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood is genius, and it is still something that there are lines of dialogue from that movie that stuck with me to this day, and because it's in the screenplay, that minute of silence, that is a ballsy thing to do. And the fact that the movie is able to pull it off is pretty incredible.
I will say a movie that should have deserved a little bit more attention in production design.
Oh, absolutely deserved production design.
That was very impactful. And those things I really did enjoy about the film.
Yeah, those scene transitions are just so charming.
I love Maria Heller. I think she's a great director. I wish she didn't make a bad movie this year, but whatever. Can't win them all.
Can't bat 1,000. Yeah. No one does.
Well, some do. Sophia, your winner.
So I have read Little Women, and I think that this movie is on the Mount Rushmore of literary adaptations, at least for me. What Greta Gerwig does here in adapting Louisa May Alcott's text, not just of Little Women, but other pieces of work that she had crafted over the years, I think is so warm and lovely. But what it also does is it's the best version, period, for me, because it understands the different types of love in the way that the novel does. And I think other versions lean too hard into the Laurie and Joe or just into the sisterly bonds. But here we have that, and we have Joe's love for her work. And a lot of films talk about the idea of creating art as being the only way that you can achieve immortality or live on and achieve some sort of greatness. And I think that the way that this does that is so unique and powerful. And it's something only Greta Gerwig could have written. And also importantly, as a Joe, because I think every woman or girl who reads Little Women sees themselves in one of the sisters, and I'm firmly a Joe. And this was the first time that I understood Amy ever. I didn't understand her in the book. I never got it. Any of the other film adaptations, I thought she was annoying as hell. I think she still is a little bit here, but that's the point. I think, but you understand her all of a sudden. You get that. And I think Greta Gerwig has a deep love for every single character in the story. So it's my long impassioned speech for why she should win. And should have won.
I agree. Little Women is my pick. It was that year. It still is. I think that it's got all the things you love about Greta Gerwig in it, and I think it is such a monumental task. It is one of those where it's like, why are you remaking this again if you're not going to do something unique and different and special from the other adaptations as well with the novel into kind of weave Louisa May Alcott's original wantings or a little bit of her life into this as well, also with just a perfect understanding and perfect casting of these characters and enriching the text the only way I think Gerwig can. She's an incredible writer and an incredible filmmaker, and I think this is the crown jewel of her career so far. And yeah, there's just moments that make me cry, that make me laugh. I rewatched this, I think, last year, And I was like, okay, let's see how this holds up, because when I was in theaters, I was a mess. And within 20 minutes, I was a mess again. And that's just what Greta Gerwig does. And so I think it's just the best screenplay for this
So
category.
Little Women, great Christmas movie.
Yes.
Yes.
A
I'm
perfect
watching it
Christmas.
tonight.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is we're nearing Christmas. Again, to timestamp it. The Wordle word today was
Don't tell me.
All right, let's move on to original screenplay. Jay, can you read the nominees?
sure thing. Parasite, Knives Out, Marriage Story, 1917, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I hate you so much sometimes. All right. I mean, obviously, I think we should take on 1917.
I am easily the biggest 1917 defender on this podcast, maybe the only 1917 defender on this podcast, and even
Probably.
I do
This
not
is
know
absolute
what the
nonsense.
fuck is
It's
doing in
crazy.
category.
This is fucking
I
stupid.
don't understand. Like-
Now the question becomes, if we want to replace anything else, we do not have to, but
I do.
I definitely have two others I like more than the ones on here. Like
I
more
would-
than the least favorite one on here.
I would be taking out Marriage Story.
I know you
Okay,
Easily.
to
I know,
defend
and-
to defend
Easily.
Marriage Story for 1 second, and I'm okay with taking it out, but it does have one of my favorite lines of all time for how silly it is, which is, "You shouldn't be upset that I fucked her. You should be upset that I had a laugh with her."
Hey,
Oh Lord, I forgot about that one.
I just do like
A
the
movie
other
made in 2019.
teen. I just do like the other screenplays of Parasite, Knives Out, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood better than Marriage Story. And
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I
Marriage
have-
Story is
I'm-
another one
I'm-
like
I'm good.
1917. Like I think it's good, but Oscar nomination worthy.
yeah.
Marriage Story and Knives Out both. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not gonna get my feelings hurt if there are some that I like a lot more than those two.
Yep.
So-
Okay. All right. So
But we'll take out Marriage Story.
Marriage Story 1917 out. And this is going to be the fun category. What do we put in its
Mhm.
placement, folks?
Booksmart.
Uncut Gems.
Good job.
Uncut Gems.
Oh my God, the both of you. That double, that 1-2 right there.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yes, Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Pain and
The Farewell.
The Farewell, Pain and
Farewell.
Glory.
Yeah,
Pain and
that's
Glory
true.
has to be brought up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's not going to make it, but My Beloved Under the Silver Lake. Great film.
And
That's like My Beloved the Souvenir. Not gonna make it,
Yeah.
I know, but
Like My
I had to
Beloved, The
say.
Last Black Man in San
San
Francisco.
Francisco.
Ooh,
Yeah.
love that movie.
Mm,
Yeah.
Love that movie. And Loose. Criminally underseen.
Loose.
Great screenplay. And you know what? I'll also throw Midsummer out there.
I'll throw the report out there.
Ooh.
Oh, I like to report.
That wasn't adapted?
That was original.
I mean, it was
I know.
adapted from a whole lot of documents, but
Yeah,
I guess not
exactly.
from a,
Yeah, like
Just a handsomely made.
I saw that at Middleburg.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
What
I
a
just remember that.
what a
Hmm.
wild movie.
Yeah.
Remember. But yeah.
I mean, I think the one that stuck out, let's talk Uncut Gems. I think that's one of the big players.
Uncut Gems. Yes. Never not gonna say it like that, Jay.
I'm enthusiastic about that one. So
Look, y'all are clearly missing the craziest screenplay of the year, and I think we need to talk
Oh,
about
High
putting
Life?
it here. Serenity.
Oh.
If
Oh,
any
Serenity.
movie screams should have gotten an Oscar nomination.
I'd also
the
throw
Madam Web of its
That
time.
movie is fucking
yes,
wild.
yes, Sophia, the Madam Web of his time, indeed.
Co-op, the Oscar would have gone to just a pile of cocaine.
I
Let's
just
be
remember.
honest.
I just remember sitting there and watching and going like, I never thought this was where it was going, and it's
no
weird,
one could have
weird and
possibly
brilliant, and
well, it's crazy that Don't Worry, Darling has the exact same twist.
he's not wrong.
It kind of does. That's wild.
I would also throw out one of my favorite films of 2019, and is Terrell Alvin McCraney's screenplay for High Flying Bird, which I love that Soderbergh film.
Criminally underseen.
Criminally
Criminally
very
underseen.
good.
We'll be talking about that a little bit later as well too, in another category. But I think that screenplay is incredible. And I do want to put an honorable mention out there for Jordan Peele's Us. But there's another category. I knew there's another category though that I would also mention Peele for that. That's a little bit stronger than screenplay, but I just wanted to mention, not a serious contender in that one.
The other one I want to throw out there is Atlantics, the Claire Methan double feature.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
That screenplay is freaking beautiful, just as good as Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Honestly,
I love Portrait. I think The Farewell would be great here. Pain and Glory, Uncut Gems. Those are at Astra. We get to talk about that? No? Okay. All right.
I love Ad Astra, but not sure
Ad
if
Astra.
necessarily in this category. Yeah, Dad Astra. Okay, let's talk about the big
Dad
ones.
Astra.
Would everyone, or at least 3 or 4 of us, agree Portrait should be in?
Yeah, I think that was the most consensus.
Okay.
I think of that more as a directorial and cinematography
All right, 3
achievement
out
than a
of 4.
screenplay.
Portrait
But,
is in.
okay, but that's just I'm just more inclined with the screenplays from Lulu Wang and from Pedro Almodovar, which I think are more written films, in my opinion.
I think Uncut Gems is a very written film.
I think that is a movie made by its directors and editing and the chaos surrounded. But
it's a
I
very
would agree
written
with
film.
that.
But
Yeah.
I think it's very well written, though.
Yeah, it's a very well written film too. I'm not discarding either one of those.
If we do want to split things up, if we think there are places where we might add things later or not add things.
Portrait's coming up later. Like it's
for
not,
sure.
Not
but I would like. I mean, I do like The Farewell.
Yeah,
possibly
me
getting
too.
a mention here because it is the only place that will come up for me. I will just say that.
Yeah,
Aquafina, Scuttlebutt,
no, nine.
Oh, yeah.
He's in jail. Aquafina's in jail.
Yeah. Oh, for the Scuttlebutt.
For Scuttlebutt.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a bit.
Felony charges. 17 to life.
Oh my God.
But I'm okay if we go.
But
really for 2 of any of those 4, if Portrait, Pain and Glory, Uncut Gems, and what did I just say?
Farewell.
Farewell.
I would push for Farewell and Portrait personally.
Okay. Sophia.
I think I would actually do the same. Portrait was my number 1 for
Jay?
this, so
I'm at peace with that. I would put Uncut Gems or Pain and Glory above The Farewell, but The Farewell is worthy. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I think what Pedro does in Pain and Glory is wonderful, but yeah, I would put in The Farewell and we'll go with Portrait. Yeah, we'll do that. So Portrait of a Lady on Fire, The Farewell, Parasite, Knives Out, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Dan, we'll start with you.
I'm still going with Parasite.
Okay.
Page for page, line for line, it is practically a perfect screenplay, not just in terms of the story and how it is able to pull off these constant surprises and get you involved in all the plotting and everything that's going on, but just like the structure of it and how each scene reveals something else, not just about character, but theme, the way everything is tied together. I think it's brilliant and almost unimpeachable.
Sophia.
I'm keeping with Parasite too. I think it's immaculately structured and a great screenplay winner.
Jay.
Yeah, I figured it was going to come down to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or Parasite, and Quentin Tarantino, obviously one of our great writers, incredible dialogue. Parasite as just like a cohesive work that builds upon itself as the film goes on is my pick. So it wins. We don't need to know who Ryan would pick.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just move on to.
So we know exactly what he would pick, and that's okay. He's entitled to it.
I would actually make this a clean sweep and give it to Parasite.
Nice.
Yeah. So that shows you how right you are, Dan.
I knew it all along.
I knew you knew. Yeah. Right. No, actually, I I think that Parasite is just one of the best written screenplays of the last like 2 decades, and it's impeccably just building upon itself and building upon itself. And the fact that it continues to shock and find emotion and stick its landing too, is that's the hardest thing, because you could write yourself, that movie could write itself into so many corners, and it just doesn't. And it also could not age well. And it doesn't, I mean, it does age well. It doesn't not age well, if that makes sense. But anyway, Parasite, our winner. We are moving to Best Supporting Actor.
Oh
The
boy.
nominees were Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He was our winner. Tom Hanks, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Anthony Hopkins, Two Popes. Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci, The Irishman.
Do we want to get
Perfect
rid of more than
category,
one?
10 out of 10. No notes.
We don't have to get rid of two. Just putting that out there.
I would get rid of Hopkins. He is good in the film, I think.
Yeah, but he gets his.
But
he
there's
gives-
others I like more.
Exactly, and then the next year he delivers them.
The
And then-
masterpiece performance.
Yeah. So
Incredible.
And
it's
then do
like
we get
night
rid
and
of
day.
one?
You know?
Do we get rid of one of the Irishmen?
Not when I'm
No,
here.
no,
I
not
agree.
at all.
Okay.
Well, and I
So-
know we're not going to get rid of Tom Hanks
Or
or Brad Pitt. No, we're not
No.
getting rid of Brad Pitt.
No.
So
Let's
I
just
think-
get rid of Hopkins.
I
then.
think we're only
Okay,
getting
we
rid
Have
of.
to get rid of one.
I think we're only getting rid of one, and now the conversation begins.
Now it's time for the canceled Olympics. Shia LaBeouf, Jonathan Majors. Who you got?
Kevin Garnett, Uncut
Oh,
Gems.
God.
Honestly, in a
Yeah.
vacuum, I might nominate Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors is
He's
really
unbelievable in
fantastic
that movie.
Last Black Man in San Francisco.
So there's
I-
Song Kang-ho.
Song
Parasite.
Kang-ho is my total incomplete and frankly only pick for
Is he
for that
lead
one
or
slot.
supporting though?
They ran him in supporting.
And it's the movie is
I put
enough
him
of
in
an
lead,
ensemble
but
piece that I
it's
can
fine.
vibe with they're all ensemble, they're all supporting
Uh-huh.
vibe. So
I'm gonna throw out
I think that's absolute fraud, but if that's where we want to put him, we can put him there.
I want to throw out the two performances from Little Women. I want to throw out Chalamet, who I think is incredible, and it's
I love his
probably
Lori.
his best performance. And I want to throw out Chris
He's such
Cooper.
a stalker. I can't.
And
He
Jesse Cooper.
is, but I love him on the hill.
And I want to throw out Chris Cooper, who is absolutely
Chris
just-
Cooper sitting on the
yes.
stairs is one of the
This
most
is-
devastating moments.
when he
in film
can't
of the last
when
10
he's
years.
like trying to find the mustard to go inside the
He's
house.
so good.
So goddamn good. I would like to consider a Mr. Willem Dafoe for The Lighthouse.
If we're talking about fraud,
Yeah,
I
that's
also put him
that's
in
co-lead.
lead.
yeah, lead. Come on.
He
How
was
about
ran
Zac
in
Efron wearing
supporting.
Jankos in The Beach Bum?
There you go.
Oh, that's nice. I want to throw out Jack Rayner in Midsummer.
He's
Really
I
good.
would like to throw out.
Yes.
I would like to throw out Wesley Snipes for Dolomite Is My Name.
Ooh, yes.
He's
yes,
good in
yes,
that,
yes.
yeah.
Ooh, I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
that. Ooh.
Yeah. I would like to throw out Alessandra Nivola for the the art of
For
defense.
Gloria Bell?
The Art
No.
of Self-Defense.
Art of self-defense.
Oh, Art of Self-Defense. Oh, yes.
Yes.
I like
Woke Fight Club.
Yes.
that.
Well, we have a lot of options for one spot.
Sam Rockwell for Richard
Yeah.
Jewell. I'm not
Look.
kidding.
I'm a Ricky Jewell defender, so
Rockwell is
Uh-oh.
great in that movie.
Oh, God.
as an attendee of the 1996 Atlanta Olympics, I lived that.
I'm gonna
Mm.
I'm gonna also
my
throw
God.
I'm gonna also throw out another.
I did the Macarena
There you go.
with Paul Walter Hauser.
There you go. And Daniel Craig for Knives Out, because he is supporting in that film. He's not the lead in that
I
film.
mean, probably true.
Benoit,
if that's the case, then he's absolutely my pick.
Benoit
I think
Blanc
he's
is
freaking
not the
brilliant.
lead of that
Is he-
movie.
He is not the lead of that movie.
It's Ana de Armas.
is the lead of
And
that
I believe
movie.
that they
Absolutely.
ran. I want to double check, but I think they ran Daniel Craig in supporting that year.
They might have run him in supporting, actually.
I know he got nominated in lead at the Globe, but
Yeah.
I can look that up.
But he's kind of like Max in Mad Max, where it's like he's sort of everything is happening around him, but he is still
He's the
sort of
central
the center
character,
of the story.
yeah.
I get you. He's more of a. I think he's more prominent of a lead in the sequel than he is
I
in
don't
the.
know. I guess we're going for
I would agree with
best
that. Yeah.
category fraud.
I don't think it's
I
nearly
mean,
as
the winner was a pretty clear category
Category
fraud
fraud.
option. So.
Yeah, I can say
Fair.
that.
okay. What you guys think? No, Daniel Craig was running Best Actor.
He was running later.
All right.
I feel like if we're doing the category fraud of
Chris
Song
Evans.
Kang-ho, if we agree, I would say he should be our pick here. But
Yeah.
open to other options.
That's fine with me.
Man,
It's him.
I
or
heard a lot of
Snipes
I heard a
for
lot of
me.
good Wesley Snipes.
Yeah,
and
Wesley
Chris
Snipes
Cooper.
That's good too.
3
Yeah.
years ago, I would be fighting tooth and nail for Jonathan Majors. Unfortunately,
I say I was.
it is
I
a
would.
different
I
world.
was. I was
Yeah.
fighting for him very, very hard that year. He's brilliant in that movie.
It's a good movie. I think Joel
Yes.
Tabbitt has a new movie coming out this year.
Yes.
Yeah, which I'm looking
My
forward
fun
to.
little anecdote about that story: Talbot and I'm sorry, the gentleman, the lead of the film, whose name I'm not remembering.
We're not going to continue this podcast so you remember his name.
He's in Nickel Boys. Can't remember his name. And you know why? You know why? Because this is my little anecdote. I went to the screening for this. They were there, and they
Oh.
delayed the screening by like 25 minutes because they were playing air hockey in the lobby.
Jimmy Fails.
Oh my god.
Jimmy Fails.
That's iconic, honestly.
I love that.
Jimmy Fails, by the way, folks.
Jimmy
Jimmy
Fails,
Fails
yes.
also
Yes,
good.
that's
He's
right.
good in that
Good
film.
actor. Yeah.
He is very good in that film. Yes. Okay. Song Kang
Sounds like
Ho,
we've made some progress.
Snipes and Cooper. I think that those are the
Oh, God, don't make me pick.
Oh,
well.
I do love Chris Cooper.
Honestly, I would
Dude,
go
dude.
Cooper, but
I want to go Cooper, but having 2 movies taking up 4 slots in this category, I just can't do it.
2 movies taking up 4 slots.
This and The Irishman.
oh no, Chris Cooper for Little Women.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were talking
No,
about
not Beautiful
Little
Day in the
Women.
Neighborhood. No, Little
Oh.
Women. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Dan. Oh, Dan.
Dan's perspective.
In that case, well.
In that case, never mind.
In
Yeah,
that
never
case, never
mind.
mind. I'm throwing my weight fully behind Song Kang-ho or Snipes.
I think Song Kang-ho is probably the right choice.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think Wesley
Although,
Snipes is the right
Wesley
choice.
Snipes.
I think
Oh,
that's such a good chaotic performance, and I love it
he's,
so much.
he's so
and it's
much fun.
Yeah,
Oh my
But-
God, he deserves.
but if Kang Ho is the way we're going, then we'll go with that. That's that. We only have one spot, and so
Yeah.
all right, we'll go.
Say do it.
We'll so go Song Kang Ho, along with Pitt, Hanks, Pacino, and Pesci. Jay, winner.
In 2020, I would have said Pitt.
You did say Pitt.
Upon reflection, I think I'm going Pesci. I think that's such a heartbreaking performance. I think he's unbelievable in that movie. And there is kind of the novelty of him not being around as much. And that probably plays a bit of a part. But as far as just whose performance in this category impacted me the most, I would go Pesci.
I do have I in 2020 went with Brad Pitt, and I will keep it with Brad Pitt. I think Brad Pitt is fantastic in that film, and I think Pesci's great too. Of the 2 Irishman actors, I would give it to Pesci over Pacino, though I think Pacino is very good in Irishman.
He's doing his Pacino thing.
Yeah,
I
And
love
he's doing
him.
his Pacino thing better than he has.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
done in
Correct.
It's really good.
decades.
It's really good.
So good.
When he arrives, you remember what a movie star he
Yeah.
is. Like
It's
just the
And the
charisma.
scene where
Oh my
they
God.
the it's what it is scene is like, come on.
Mhm.
He's
they
so
wouldn't.
good.
They wouldn't.
They
dare.
wouldn't dare. Oh,
No,
Mhm.
don't say that. Don't say that. You know, it's so good. So good. But and yeah, there is this sort of quiet presence that Pesci gives, and scene gets me
Him
every
at the end of the movie is like,
yeah,
whew.
scene gets him every time when he's throwing the bocce ball and he's barely can rip the bread.
Mhm.
It's a lot, but also like Brad Pitt destroys the Manson family, and I love it. So like what are you gonna say? Brad Pitt for me. Dan.
Brad Pitt is one of those wins that just like it is. If he hadn't won before, like this is the ultimate role for him to win for. It so perfectly encapsulates his screen presence and what we love about him. That's why he won. And as much as I love Tom Hanks in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, I gotta keep it with Brad Pitt. It's a perfect win.
Right.
Okay.
Sophia?
Well, my vote was for Pesci. He was my vote at the time. I think it is such a heartbreaking, perfect supporting performance, and he is the star of the movie for me. The performance I always think about when I think about The Irishman. So now we're 2-2.
Shit.
I'll say, just from my perspective, Ty goes to Pitt on this one.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I love that performance. I
He
love
gets
his
the
line
push from
readings.
actually winning.
Oh my God. I really enjoy how he plays that character. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's 1A, 1B for me, but
Called manslaughter.
Pesci's
Um,
got his statue.
Yeah.
I threw him into that car. And you were on a horsey. It's just like little
Oh
lines.
my gosh.
It's just little lines. I love it when he's feeding Brandy and he goes,
Michael Murtaugh.
"Yeah, you whining because I don't want to give you this shit." You know what I mean? Oh, it's just
Because
Pitt's-
that's what we do when we're home alone with our pets. At least I do.
we're very authoritative with them. Brad Pitt keeps his Oscar.
Just wait till you have kids.
Yeah. It's yeah, I would have gone either way though on that, honestly. Pitt and Pesci. Those were the two from that year, easily.
Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah.
Best supporting actress, please.
Best supporting actress. Our winner was Laura Dern in Marriage Story. And the other nominees were Kathy Bates in Richard Jewell, Scarlett Johansson in Jojo Rabbit, Florence Pugh in Little Women, and Margot Robbie in Bombshell.
All right. What are we taking out?
And
Don't take out Kathy. Don't you do it.
Kathy first. Yeah.
Don't get rid of her. Don't do it.
Actually, I wouldn't take Kathy
I'm
out of
fighting
this.
for Kathy. She's great.
I
in that
wouldn't
movie.
take Kathy out of this.
I don't like Laura Dern's performance in Marriage
Thank
Story.
you.
Sophia. I feel yes.
Let's have
should not
this
have won, should not have been
conversation.
nominated. It is the easiest, most
Interesting.
crowd pleasing baiting.
I mean, she's doing the Big
role,
Little
and she
Lies
does
thing.
Nothing more with
Exactly.
it than anyone else would have.
She won this because she's fucking Laura Dern, and
Yes.
she's
And
been.
she's so much better in Little Women the same year.
Oh, she's so
There's
much
that.
better.
Mhm.
But it's also like she won this because she was like big with the Academy, and everybody loves Laura Dern, and
That's the
she's
legacy
never
Oscar.
won.
and she's never won, and her dad's, and she's a nepo baby. No, I'm just kidding. But like, no, I mean that helps.
One of my favorite Nepo babies, though.
yeah,
She-
Not
yeah,
the worst
one of the-
Nepo
It's
baby
true.
win in
No.
this category in recent
Far
memory.
from it.
No,
yeah.
no. Is this category becoming the nepo baby one?
I think she's good at what she's
Stay
asked to do.
tuned.
I think
Stay
what
tuned.
she's asked to do isn't terribly interesting, but
No,
she's
I don't-
Really,
I-
she's really good at it.
No,
also
like you
the
put anyone else in that role, they would have given the exact same performance.
It's
more
also
or
just
less.
an
It's
annoying
like,
character. It's like the character's
You
nothing.
hate Marriage Story. Let's get
I
that
don't
out of the
like
way.
that movie.
I
Yeah, I
like it
don't.
either.
And
I
I
think
it's-
it's fine.
I think it's pretty
think
good.
it's-
I just don't get
it's
the
good, but
ridiculous praise. Like I feel like it was very overpraised.
yes,
This being the win for the movie, I think
yeah, and that's the other
I
thing.
like the other lead performances more
Yeah.
than her performance here.
Like
But I also would I would kick out Scarlett for
Agreed.
Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah,
I don't think
she's very
Scarlett's-
stilted in that movie. I don't think she vibes
No,
with the
I think
tone
this-
well at all.
Agreed.
I think this is the better of the two performances she gives in the year.
No.
Yes,
I don't
yes.
Yeah,
think
that's
so.
Oh,
absurd.
We're about to kick her
That's
out.
ludicrous.
No, we're
Also,
keeping her in Best
the
Actress.
Margot Robbie performance is just nothing to me.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
bad performance.
So I would say that, except for two scenes in that movie. One is the scene with Roger Ailes where
her and Kate
you
McKinnon.
don't even need anything because just her face. And the other is the phone call with Kate McKinnon where it's just you watch her break down and you remember why the fuck Margot Robbie is a movie star. She is really incredible, I think, in that role. And the pure emotionality she exudes is just that takes it over the top.
Dan, I love you, but she gives a better performance in Once Upon a Time in
I was
Hollywood.
gonna say I love her in Hollywood.
If you wanted to throw that out there, I would be willing to hear that because
She's
I
on
also
my
really
list.
like her in that movie too.
And I don't.
There's a lot of also rans on this that I would like to throw.
There are
in.
lots, and frankly, I don't think she's the worst in the category, and not even the second worst. Like,
No,
I
I
actually
would-
think I could
I think
empty
she's a
out this
very solid
category.
third place for me.
Oh yeah, no, Jay. I mean, we could empty
I
out
like
this
Florence
category.
and Little Women.
I
We
think
could
she's.
Oppenheimer
I
this
love
bad
Florence
boy.
and Little Women.
Yeah, we could Oppenheimer this bad boy. Is that what you just said?
We could blow it up.
Yeah. I would. Okay, so my votes would be for Robbie and Dern to be out of this lineup. That
To
would
go.
be.
Johansson and Robbie for me.
I
And
had
second-
Johansson and Robbie, but Dern also like.
Yeah, I don't. I just don't want to. No,
She's
Dern and Johansson for me.
Mm,
Dern and Johansson.
Dern and
Okay.
Johansson, I think, are the common denominators. Then
All right. I don't want to give Bombshell anything.
Well,
I could just-
let's cut Margot and keep Dern, and we can not give her a win. As long as
Yeah.
we strip her of her win.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're
I'm
gonna
fine
take that.
with
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
think I think the hate is slightly exaggerated because she did win.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Mm.
Well, no, I just don't think it's a good
No, I don't think
performance either.
I don't think
Jay.
anything about
Like,
this movie was worthy of being nominated. So
No, I want my way though.
No, I know. We're gonna
so do
take.
we all.
We're gonna. Yeah. Welcome to this game. No one gets their way. This is democracy at its finest.
Johansson
Didn't we
and
learn that
Robbie
this
out.
year? Didn't we learn that this year? Yeah, Johansson and Robbie are out of this category. So
Okay,
now
good.
we have two replacements.
There's some good ones. I
Uh,
still say J-Lo should have been in.
I think so too.
Mm.
I would also add
Is she a
Julia
lead?
Fox for Uncut Gems.
I'm gonna just throw this out.
Yes, Julia Fox for Uncut Gems. Absolutely.
She's
Adele-
on my list.
Adele
Adele
Hanel.
Hanel.
Adele Hanel, absolutely.
Mhm.
Octavia Spencer in Loose. Brilliant.
She's gonna come up later for me.
I love her.
By the way, J Lo, lead, not supporting in that film, in my opinion. I think that's.
I think that one's flexible.
I think it's okay. I don't.
I don't think
I think she fits in supporting, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't have necessarily nominated her.
I think she's so good in that movie.
I do
I-
too.
Zhao Shushan.
Zhao Shuzhen
Mm-hmm.
absolutely needs to be in this category. Like,
If there's one thing I'm going to nominate from Booksmart, it would be Billy Lord.
yes,
She's incredible in that
yes,
film.
Oh, I love her in
brilliant,
that. Yeah.
so funny.
She's great.
The chaotic energy that she brings to every scene is just
Mhm.
beyond.
Margot
I love it.
Robbie in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I was
Um,
serious. That was on my list.
Paula Beer Transit.
Peaceful.
Yes, Paula
Yes,
Beer in
Paula Beer in
Transit.
There's a lot
My
to
pet's
go
Divide-
for here.
Divine Joy Randolph in Dolomite is my name.
Yes.
Future
She's
winner in the
good.
category.
Mhm.
Tony Collette, Knives Out. She's
she's
Julie
been in that.
Walters and Wild Rose.
yes.
Excellent
she's good
performance
in
in a
that.
very stellar
Ooh,
part.
This one might take half an hour.
My favorite supporting performance of the year, Natasha Lyonne in Ad Astra. I don't know what the fuck Natasha Lyonne is doing in 5 minutes as a space secretary in Ad Astra, but I'm obsessed
Wow.
with it. I don't.
I wanna
whole
throw-
movie about her, please.
I want to throw some love to Penelope Cruz in Pain and Glory. I think she's
Oh,
fantastic
amazing
in that
performance.
film. I think she's
Mhm.
amazing.
One of my faves.
I love that fucking
So
movie
important.
so much. Yeah. So, wait, Jay, important person?
Penelope Cruz is just like so important.
Yeah,
I still say I
Truly.
think she might be the most beautiful person I've ever seen in real life.
she's yeah. There's yeah.
that's-
that's fair. I'm
It's
not gonna.
possible.
I'm not. No, for sure.
It is crazy when you see a famous person who you think is beautiful on screen, and then you see them in real life, and it's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what is this?
Was that you with Deacons as well, Jay?
The one for me that I'll
Witchcraft.
always remember is who's the teacher in Billy Madison?
You couldn't. If you gave me 100 names, I couldn't.
I
give
saw
it
her
to you.
at a tennis tournament, and she was married to Pete Sampras.
Some random woman.
Here we go.
And I just remember seeing her walk out of a car. And in my mind, I wasn't like, oh, well, she's one of like the, and I was a teenager. So I was like, she's not one of like the hottest actresses in the game. And then she gets out of the car and I'm like, oh my, what species are you? What is this? It was just insane.
Her name is Bridget Wilson.
Bridget
There you
Wilson,
go.
yes.
How did Pete
yeah,
do that
anyway.
day?
He was just there to watch. I think he was
Oh,
there
he
for the
was-
celebrity match.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, thank you for that, Jay.
welcome.
What are we picking here?
I also met Will Ferrell that day. He signed my tennis shoe.
Wait,
Focus.
one more to throw out. Lee Jong-un, who plays Moon Gwang, the former
Oh,
housekeeper in Parasite.
Mm,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, she's good. She's good.
There's
I'm gonna
so
stump
many
for
good
Adele
performances
Hanel.
in
Yeah,
Parasite.
she's my number one, Adele Hanel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we all in?
All
Yeah.
in.
All right.
And then I'm tossed between two. I think Paula Beer would be great for Transit, and I also think Julia Fox and Uncut
I was
Gems
about
would
to
be.
say I think I would vote for Julia Fox.
I think Julia Fox would
I
be
was
fucking
going to say
hilarious.
I'm saying picking between Julia Fox and Billy Lord and Booksmart, and I would go with Billy Lord.
Oh, okay.
Let's go with Julia Fox.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Julia Fox, I'm totally down for.
Yes.
I think that's great.
She's so
I
good
wanna-
in that movie.
Please.
She's so good at it.
Yeah.
I want to know who quickly, and Sophia, Dan, this would probably be more for you guys. If they did the former winners and Julia Fox was nominated for Uncut Gems, who would the Oscars have gotten to speak for that performance?
Marissa
Tomei.
Yeah.
Okay, well there you go.
That
Here's-
was awesome.
And Jay, what is
That was
Marissa?
great.
And Jay, what is Marissa Tomei for you?
Oh my
The
god.
most important
Uh,
person. Come on.
We don't have any more time. All right,
Pass.
folks, there you go.
We
So
already
we have-
talked about that on the What Women Want episode.
Yeah, we did.
Of the
Yes,
Director
we
Watch
did.
podcast.
Way to-
Oh, God.
Now streaming on all streaming platforms.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Julia Fox, Uncut Gems, Adele Hanel for Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Join Laura Dern and Marriage Story, Kathy Bates and Richard Jewell, and Florence Pugh in Little Women.
I can't believe Kathy Bates is here.
I
And
can know.
the
I
difference
don't
between who we
know.
picked and who
No.
they
I'm just-
nominated.
I'm
is
just
so
Can
saying,
we
weird.
just
like-
replace the whole category?
No,
please?
no, we're not. No, that's gonna.
She's good in Richard Jewell.
No,
She's
but it's
good
like-
in
it's-
that. She's good in that good movie.
No.
They were so mean to my son. You know what I mean? Like it's like
She's good.
it's just so funny to
Should have
replace
been
them
Olivia Wilde
with
and
like
Richard
really.
Jewell.
Oh,
Oh.
oh shit, Jay.
Oh.
Because she's a serious journalist.
I like that movie. That is one of the most like. One of
She
the
really thought she was
craziest
Faye Dunaway in that
characters
movie.
in,
Oh, she did. The poor thing.
No, but like
no,
just
Clint Eastwood told her
He's a
she was a Faye
one-take wonder.
Dunaway character.
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Just adding these people into this category, it just makes it so fucking funny. Anyway,
Oh.
Sophia, can you give us your winner in the category?
My
now?
winner, as
Is-
much as I would love to give
is
Julia
Kathy
Fox an
Bates.
Oscar, my winner is Adele Hanel for Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yeah,
That movie, when I saw it that year, it blew me away. And still, I think is one of the most beautiful movies in recent memory, like of recent releases. And her performance is a big part of that.
Jay.
Same. Smoldering, just like powerful, towering, supporting performance.
Dan.
I would say for Lawrence Pugh, but that last scene, that last shot in Portrait of a Lady on Fire has haunted my dreams
That last
ever
scene is so
since
good.
I saw it, and I can't get it out of my head. So congratulations, Adele Hanel, on your AwardsWatch Oscar.
It's Adele Hanel,
You're watching.
but there you go, the Watchy Award. There you
The
go.
Watchy.
The Watchies.
But I do think Florence Pugh, if you're just
Mhm.
talking about the original,
Should
category,
have won.
it's one of those where you're just
Should
like,
have won.
why? This is the only interesting, good performance of this bunch that you wanted to nominate.
Florence Pugh does not pull off like 11-year-old though. That's
Yeah,
the one
no.
thing about that performance.
Yeah.
Do you want to see an 11-year-old doing that? Because you love child actors. You know,
Well,
what I mean?
I mean,
let's.
It's like how they're college
I'm
students.
glad they
Language.
kept. I'm glad they kept her the
Phrasing.
actress for the whole performance, but she's not good in that section of the film. Nor am I
I don't know.
surprised that
11-year-olds
she
are pretty annoying like that. She played it pretty well, I think. Like,
She played it as well as she could. Probably.
Yeah.
I think it's probably an unfair position to put her in, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think
whatever.
she's
She's
good.
very good in the movie.
Yeah.
She'll
When
get
she
one
when
day.
she burns that book, I wanted to
Yeah.
burn that
Oh, God.
cottage with her down.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
man.
what a selfish thing to do. All right, Adele Hanel is our winner.
Congrats. Our first non-nominated winner. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes,
Great.
that is correct. All
Good
right.
work by us. The
Good job.
Watchies.
The watch.
Moving things forward.
Jay,
Yeah.
best actor, buddy.
Best actor. The winner was Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. You also had Antonio Banderas. Awesome nomination for Pain and Glory. Leo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver for Marriage Story, and Jonathan Pryce as one of the two popes.
As uno pope. All right.
Un pope. Un
Un
papa.
pope. Un pope.
Il nuovo pope, the new pope.
All right. So I think we're all going to agree that Joaquin Phoenix is out of this category.
I'm with you.
I'm with you.
I mean, he's out.
The thing
Dan.
is, like,
you
I
got three.
do not like that movie, and I do not like that character, but I do think that he is very, very good in that role.
What is your alternative, Dan?
I
Who are
don't
the two
know.
that you would kick out?
Okay, I'd easily kicked out of this lineup. I'd kick out Adam Driver. I like him generally as an actor, but I just don't like Marriage
Punches that
Story,
wall
and
pretty
I don't
good.
think that anything he's doing is particularly interesting. But really, he's the only one that I would replace in this category. I like everyone else
I
a
would.
lot. Like, the only person that I would consider is Leo, just because he has enough nominations already.
love
But I
Leo
think that this is
here.
one of his best performances, so I don't want to
Yeah.
get rid of him.
Yeah.
That almost hurt. I didn't know where that sentence was going to end. I'm not the biggest Marriage Story defender, but I think Driver is the best thing in the film. It's because he's, not surprisingly, the problems I have with that film, he's the best written character in the film.
It's
And
focused on.
Like, the best thing in that film is Mary.
Exactly.
Okay.
yeah, that's fair.
Oh, we should have talked about her maybe.
Oh, we should have.
It's too
She is
small
good.
For the
a
serving
supporting
scene? Oh,
actress,
she's
but,
great.
like,
Very good.
I would kick out the Joker and the Pope. That's
I would
what I
too.
would
It's
do.
What
the
I
easy.
have.
Oh, I'm
it's the
not
easy
kicking out
route.
Jonathan
Right.
Pryce. No.
The price is wrong.
The price is wrong. I mean,
Price
what he
is
did,
always right. Are you
what
kidding?
he did to Glenn Close the year before, that son of a bitch, he can't be nominated.
I think he's pretty good in the movie, but again, there's just a lot of others that I would put ahead.
I would not
No.
kick out Banderas, DiCaprio, and I think Driver is better than both Phoenix
I could
and
kick
Price.
out
I've
three.
seen Phoenix do this before. This sort of this manic, over the top,
Physical.
wild physical transformation. He did it like earlier in the decade, and they didn't want to give him the win then because, no offense, Daniel Day-Lewis decided to give us a great performance as fucking. He was literally Lincoln, for Christ's sake. But no, and Jonathan Pryce, it's like the definition of fine. It is how a campaign works. He's an elder statesman that got a nomination for a great career, but like there's nothing transformative about that performance. Just
Nothing
like
transformative about Drivers either.
I like that
It's great.
performance.
It is pretty.
So
great.
I would vote to keep it.
And he had a great
but,
year there too. Put that in the report.
I'm okay with just kicking out Joaquin if that's where we want to go. I
want
do have
Price
some
out of there.
extras. But
I
if we wanna
got
get
so
Price
many.
out,
I got so
They got so many
yeah.
actors.
I would
Yeah.
vote to keep Driver instead of Price, personally.
I gotta kick out this Pope.
All right, then we got three kicking out
But
the
I do
Pope,
think
so the
he's
Pope's
good
out
in
of
the
here.
two popes.
Kicking out both of the two popes.
And that he is.
And we're going
he-
hell.
He is
Netflix.
the,
Yeah.
the young
Heathens.
Pope.
Really in the Christmas spirit. You know what I mean? All right. So let's start throwing some names out there.
All right, I'll start. Matthew Rhys in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, one of the most sensitive performances of the year.
It's
I thought
absolutely
you were going to
ludicrous.
say, sorry, I thought you were going to say Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, I
The
was going to
beach-
say that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would
I was
also
gonna
say
bring
Matthew
it up.
McConaughey.
He's good in the
That's
beach
where
bum.
I
I don't
thought
know
you
what
were
to tell
Come
you.
on, the
so
reconnaissance
good.
back in
If we
full
want to make it
effect.
interesting,
Oh.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that De Niro was not nominated.
I would agree
Agree.
with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
the performance that's aged for me the craziest.
It's crazy that he didn't get in.
It's one of those where you're just like, wait, he's the titular Irishman. That's
The
like,
titular role.
yeah, it's like, I mean, they nominated some of the Little Women. You know what I mean? Like, what?
They also
They
nominated
nominate-
Jojo
I mean,
Rabbit.
The Sandman.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, you
Dolomite is
gotta
my name.
do Adam Sandler and Eddie Murphy. for
I'm gonna
the
say
two
it. The guy that got all the noms and didn't make it because of the stupid Pope, Taron Egerton in Rocketman. He's fantastic in that film.
Oh, that's maybe hasn't been brought up yet.
Andre Holland
Fun.
for High Flying Bird.
He's really good in that.
Robert
August-
Robert
Pattinson
Pattinson and Willem Dafoe for the Lighthouse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
For
Andrew
me,
Garfield.
August Deal, A Hidden Life.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt for Ad Astra.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield for Under the Silver Lake. I think
Agreed.
he's wonderful. I think he's wonderful in that. Christian Bale in 4v Ferrari.
Yes.
I think he's wonderful in
He's
that.
really good. That movie is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Franz Rosagowski for Transit.
Yes.
He's great.
Uh-huh.
Great.
All right. So we've narrowed it down to about 15.
Robert
I
Pattinson
think
in
De
High
Niro.
Life. Jimmy
Now we
Fails
can-
for The Last Black Man in San
Yeah.
Francisco. That's got
Yeah, I was
Jay's,
gonna
that's
say
got
him.
Jay's vote
Yeah.
written all over it.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo in Dark Waters.
Not my favorite performance.
you
from
didn't
him.
say Anne
Great
Hathaway.
performance.
Well, since this
I
was where he was
purposely
ru-
didn't say Anne Hathaway.
since
Anne
this
Hathaway's
was where
good
he
in
was
Dark
run,
Waters.
I'll say
Bad-
Daniel
bad
Craig
role.
and Knives Out.
Yeah.
Mhm. There's a hole in this donut.
Yes.
And you know what? Calvin Harrison Jr. in Waves.
Oh, no.
Don't bring up waves. We
Waves.
don't want to
We
be
don't
here
do
for 3
3
hours. We
hours.
don't want to do it.
We don't want to do it. Ewan McGregor in Doctor Sleep. He's fantastic in that film.
I also like Dr. Sleep quite a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have brought up Rebecca Ferguson in Doctor Sleep.
Hello.
Oh,
You
supporting, yeah.
Yeah. We really just.
Too bad, too late.
I gotta go.
So I think there was some enthusiasm around De Niro for The Irishman.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think De Niro's in.
He needs to be
De
in.
Niro. Yeah.
But now we got to make
And I
some.
would put The Sandman.
I
I think that
I'm
performance
gonna,
is amazing.
I'm gonna stump for Eddie Murphy. Dolomite is my name is
It's another great one.
fantastic. We didn't do it for Snipes. I think we gotta give this to Eddie Murphy. Talk about someone who deserved he should have had an Oscar, and because of a fucking terrible movie he made completely unrelated, he lost.
Doesn't everybody also hate him? Isn't that the thing?
Who?
Eddie
Sam?
Murphy.
Oh, Eddie Murphy?
Eddie Murphy, maybe,
Yeah, I think nobody likes Eddie Murphy.
I don't know.
but
People love working
we
with
don't
him,
have
though.
to worry about that. We are just talking about the
Yeah, I know,
performances. We can be so high-minded as to make it just about the performances.
I'd like to stump for Robert Pattinson in The Lighthouse.
Ooh, interesting choice.
Very, very.
Either him or Defoe. Probably. Well, yeah. I feel like I feel that Pattinson's the lead and Defoe's supported, but I understand that
They're co-leads.
They're co-leads, yeah.
and I'm going to lose that battle. But if I had to nominate one of the two, I would consider Robert Pattinson. Though, speaking with Josh Parham, who could make it here today, he is big on Willem Dafoe in The Lighthouse. So that was his.
Yeah.
I
Are
would
you
say I would
fond of
probably
me,
give-
lobster?
If we
Yeah.
had to pick one, I would probably pick Defoe.
Oh, from those two,
love them
from
both.
The Lighthouse.
From The
Of the
Lighthouse.
two
Yeah,
of them, I'd pick
Lighthouse.
Defoe too, but
Yeah.
But Robert Pattinson.
Yeah. Oh, he
wow.
important person in
what
that
a
movie.
year for him. What a
He's
year.
an important person.
He is
to
an
me,
important
yeah.
person to
Yeah.
me too, Sophia.
Yeah.
Batman.
Where are we at with Edgerton? He was so close to getting that nomination.
He's good in that movie.
Got
He's
kicked out
very
by the Pope.
good.
He's-
Just
yeah,
not
he's
one of my
good.
five.
I just didn't really care about that movie when it came
Yeah.
out. It's my musical biopic thing. I was like, okay,
All right.
great, cool.
That's a good.
I think people were
Elton
really
John
high on that.
impression you did.
Yeah, like people were very
Congratulations.
high on it because he actually sang, unlike Mr. Malek.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
get
Given the year before,
way
it's
better.
a, it's
I
a
get
way
it.
better
Like,
performance.
Yeah,
like,
if we're
Yeah.
talking about deserving, like I absolutely get it, but he would not make it for me.
no, I'm just throwing it out there. I wouldn't. I mean, he
Mhm.
was like at the time that year he was in my five. But he wasn't my winner. So, but things have also changed as well too over the years. I just know that he was the one. He was the one we always talk about. Where it's like
Yeah.
they got an Ed Globe and Critics' Choice and a SAG, and then they didn't get the Oscar nom. So, Sophia, for your last spot, did you have a place that you wanted to?
I did have. I mean, Adam Sandler was my next one for Uncut Gems, but I am not.
Wait, what?
I don't know. De Niro was my biggest one.
Which film?
Uncut Gems.
Thank you.
Sorry, I need to work on it more. I can do it for sure.
Yeah.
But I can't. I have to prepare.
I think I'm good with Sandler. I think I would put my weight around Sandler. That's such a good performance. It's such an all-encompassing performance.
He's great.
He's great in that movie. Him and Murphy are great. I mean, like it's a very stacked year for this category.
Yes.
Which is not the same you could say for like the current year we're in right now. but I think De Niro and Sandler are where we're gonna go. Is that okay? Everybody okay with that?
I am more than good with that because that would have been my two. So.
Oh, okay.
No black man. How racist of us.
Well, there's the Oscars for you. We'll get to that in the next category. Antonio Banderas, Leonardo DiCaprio, Adam Driver, De Niro, Sandler. What's our winner? Dan, your winner.
Leo.
Ooh.
Wow.
I think it's his best performance.
You wanted to kick him out like 10 minutes ago.
No, I did not. I said I wasn't going to because I think it's one of his best performances. Like, I know he's already won, but I just think this is a much better performance than that. And of the ones we have, I think it is my favorite in the category.
Sophia.
Oh, I was between two, and I love Leo so much in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He is my favorite performance in the movie, and it's such a complex role.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going Banderas for Pain and Glory. I really love that performance, and looking back at it, think he should have won.
Jay.
Sophia and I are pretty simpatico today. Banderas was my winner then. He's my winner now. I think that is a phenomenal performance in a really underrated movie. I think that's kind of upper tier Almodovar, actually. And he just is asked to do so much in that movie, and he carries the whole thing wonderfully. Banderas.
I did not see that coming from you, Dan.
I
didn't
know,
see it coming from me either.
It threw me, so I was kind of
me.
like, oh wait, I'm between Leo and Antonio Banderas. What do I do? And then that happened.
I think since we added one of the best performances of the year, it makes things extremely even harder than it already was, because I think De Niro's work in The Irishman is a monumental achievement, not just of his work in that film, but of the legacy with him.
Sitting with the door open.
Oh my God, one of the
I
best.
can't.
You talk about a movie that's aged well.
Yeah.
God damn it. Maybe am I going to
so
change
good.
it? Am I going to change to De Niro? Fuck.
But then Dan's right. Like, Leonardo DiCaprio is incredible in
so good.
and
He's also playing like multiple characters.
Yeah.
and he's also he also just his best
like
work is
the little girl, like, that was the best acting I've ever seen. Me watching that movie. Like,
no, he gives his best work when he's with Tarantino. Like, they work perfectly together. And it's just but I had my winner at the time, and I will still go to bat for it. Antonio Banderas should have won that Oscar. It's an incredible performance. It's also just the long history between him and Almodovar. They're falling out. They're reuniting to make this film. It's pieces of him, pieces of Almodovar put into this performance. And fun fact, the day that I went travel back in time with me, folks, for a quick second. 2019, I saw a triple feature. I saw Jojo Rabbit, I saw Parasite, and I saw Pain and Glory all on the same day. And I walked out of that day.
Whiplash.
I know, right?
yeah.
No, that was
It can only go up from here.
yeah. Whiplash was a different year though. But I walked away with being just after the ride of Parasite was the last film I saw of the day, but I was just after driving away from the theater, I was just like, God, I can't get Antonio Banderas and some of those shots out of my head. It's the power of Pedro Almodovar. It's the power of Banderas' performance. I will give him gladly the Watchy for Best Actor.
I wish I liked that.
Congratulations,
more.
Antonio.
Yeah.
The final
man.
scene of that movie too is unreal.
Can you imagine Antonio Banderas having to hand or fake handoff Anthony Hopkins that Oscar the next year?
It would have gone better than it
Better.
A
Yeah.
Mask of Zorro virtual reunion? Who doesn't want to see
Oh,
that?
that would have been fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sophia, Best Actress.
did. Oh, here we go. So our winner was Renee Zellweger for Judy. We also had Cynthia Erivo for Harriet, Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan for Little Women, and Charlize Theron for Bombshell.
Wow.
What a category.
What a fucking nightmare Kevin Jacobson has on his hands having to deal with this year. I mean, like, this is just a.
There are some really fun replacements, though.
There's
Yeah,
so
there's
many
some
fun,
really good ones.
but this is just a. What are you doing?
You got to
Like,
Oppenheimer this one.
Yeah,
I mean, no,
this-
I think
I love
Scarlett
Saoirse.
and Saoirse are. I think
Mhm.
Saoirse is like capital G great.
No.
I think Scarlett Johansson's good.
She's the only one I would keep as Saoirse Ronan in a real.
I mean, Renee Zellweger is like good in a profoundly boring way.
Yeah.
Arrivo,
Put that on the poster.
I think
She's
Arrivo
good.
is like not given that much to do in that movie.
You watched that this week.
I did. I watched it for the first time this week, and I mean, it was kind of exactly what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Charlize Theron is
she's bad.
The role she was born to play. I'm sorry. Like,
I'm
I
actually
don't
more
know.
interested in Charlize picking this up and playing Megyn Kelly now. Like
Yeah,
The thing is,
that's
I wouldn't say there's a bad performance in this list actually.
It's just
As I
kind
look
of
at it,
meh,
yeah.
blah, boring.
yeah.
No, I don't think Zellweger's good, and I think Charlize
You know
is
what?
given terrible
Yeah,
material.
Honestly,
Like, I'm not gonna
kind of
defend-
okay, let's blow this up.
No, we're not gonna.
We are allowed, right?
Are we
We're
allowed?
one.
Do we
One
like?
a year and we haven't done it yet.
No, Ryan, you vetoed that. Oh, one a year.
I thought that
Didn't we
Josh.
say
I
that
thought we
last
said.
time?
I thought we said
Ryan,
that we
you're
were
the
starting that.
czar. Let's do it.
Well, technically, Josh is the rule keeper around here.
Yes, and he's not here. So
he's not here.
He's the Oppenheimer.
I think-
Joshua Oppenheimer is.
I think we said we would start doing that in the new year, but I mean,
Okay.
if we want to do a test run, we could do it in this
The
category.
The Trinity test.
The Trinity test.
Trinity
There you go.
test. Let's do it.
But I
God
want
damn,
to keep
Josh.
I do want to keep
I want
Saoirse.
to keep Saoirse.
Yeah, to keep Saoirse.
Okay,
That's why it's a
if I
test.
get
You
hate mail
are
from Josh
completely
about this,
right.
he's going to be so mad that
I'm
he missed
also
out on the
okay if we
first
want
time.
to test it and cut 3 and keep Saoirse and Scarlett.
I would
I'm-
test. I would test and cut 4.
I mean, I have no attachment to Scarlett. I'm very attached to Saoirse in this
Yeah.
category.
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's do it. Why not?
Do it.
All right,
Do it.
there it goes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We
Now
have
we got to
4
replace with 4.
4.
Double
Replacement.
nominee Florence Pugh.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for Midsommar.
Midsummer.
Right.
The one that I'm enthusiastic about that will be brought up in no other category is Elizabeth Moss in Her Smell.
Spell.
Yes.
A title that
Ooh.
Jay and I said is the worst title in the history of cinema,
It's a
but
bad title. Yeah.
but an incredible
Yeah, it's pretty
performance.
bad.
Lupita
It
Nyong'o.
probably cost it $250,000 at the box
Lupita
office.
Nyong'o for Us.
Yes.
Absolutely. Hands down.
Nomi
Um,
Merlant for Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Mhm.
I'm there for that. Jessie Buckley, Wild Rose.
Yes, Jesse Buckley, absolutely. Aquafina, The Farewell.
Again,
This
I
could
can't,
be
I can't, I
supporting-
can't give that to a war criminal. If we can't give it to Jonathan Majors, we can't give it for the person who performed Scuttlebutt.
Uh,
Okay, fine.
Mary Kay Place for
is-
Diane.
Ooh,
Oh, that's a
Ken
good one.
Jones, yes. I will say
this
both
is-
Booksmart ladies, Beanie and King. Very
So-
good.
Sophia.
Octavia Spencer for Ma. I'm being totally serious.
Yes.
Also
Yes.
could be a supporting performance, but I just consider her a lead in the old Hollywood way. Isabelle Huppert for Greta. I love
Oh
her
my
in that movie.
God.
And I just wanted to mention her.
That scene in the
Nice.
restaurant alone.
Oh my
Um,
God.
Why
anyone
she
seen
would
we
be
didn't-
obsessed
Yeah.
with
Did anybody
Chloe Grace
mention
Moretz,
Riz
I don't know.
Ahmed in Sound of Metal for actor?
That would be for the next year,
Next
Jay.
year.
Next
Oh,
year,
that's the
yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Letterbox
Uh,
years strike again.
Mhm.
Asling Franciosi in The Nightingale.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh shit, The Nightingale. My God.
Incredible. Yeah.
What a fucking
That's
movie.
a good flick.
That
I
is
will
a,
also
that is a
throw-
hard flick to watch.
Mhm,
Yeah.
But she is
She's great.
unbelievable. I will also throw out there Constance Wu in Hustlers. She's my favorite performance in that movie. I think she's great.
Oh. Yeah, she's
Um,
pretty good.
Julianne Moore for Gloria Bell.
I
It's
was hoping
2018,
someone
but
would say it.
yeah, it's a 19 US release.
Yep.
Mhm.
I would throw out Sienna Miller for American Woman.
Yes, she's great in that. No one saw that movie, but she's great.
Um,
Man.
I will, and this is, I am being dead serious in
Oh, boy.
this. Jessica Roth for Happy Death Day to You.
Oh, I can get behind that.
A very
have a lot
important
of
person,
horror
Jay. A very
performances.
important
She's so
person.
she's so good in those.
She's so much fun and so good in those movies.
Yeah.
So we have 4.
And the two in Carol Duarte and Julia Stockler in Invisible Life, both incredible.
Looking through it real quick. If I was going to nominate a Charlize
Man.
performance, it would be for Long Shot, not for Bombshell.
She's also good in Long Shot.
It's a good thing we have 4. 'cause,
Jillian
man, we just
Bell
ran
in
through a
Brittany
lot.
Runs a Marathon. She's
Hard
so
pass.
good in that.
Hard pass. It's a hard truth.
She did run that marathon, though.
Anna de Armas and Knives Out.
Yes.
She's very good.
It's very good in that film.
Yep. Gugu Mbatha-Raw in Fast Color.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd even throw support for Samara Weaving in Ready or Not.
Oh,
Oh, love that performance.
love that too.
Man. Okay. I think we've done it.
Okay. I think we've done it, and we haven't nominated anybody. Oh, God damn it!
We just listed all the contenders.
This is your idea to blow everything up, and you're like, "Well, we did it. Move on
There
to the
we
next
go.
fucking category."
Nominate 20 people. Let's move on.
Florence Pugh. Are we all in agreement on Florence Pugh
We
Pew
should be.
for
Yeah,
Midsommar?
I am.
Yeah.
Pew
Mhm.
pew. Okay.
Okay.
I love that
Pugh
for
is
Lupita.
in.
And for Lupita.
I'm good with
Yeah.
Lupita.
Yeah.
Mm.
Lupita.
Again, I'm stumping hard for Elizabeth Moss. I think she's awesome in that.
I think Elizabeth
Much
Moss
smaller
is
movie.
I think that's fine too.
Great.
She's
Yeah.
on my
movie.
list. Yep.
I would. I threw her out there. I think if you're gonna, I think Nomi Merlant should be nominated. I think that her. And
I agree.
Delano, yeah.
Sounded like there
Mhm.
wasn't
Mhm.
as much enthusiasm for that, but are we good with that?
I'm good with that.
Is
Dan.
that our 4? Elizabeth Moss, Merlant, Pugh, Nyong'o.
Dan.
I would go with like Jessie Buckley over the last one instead.
Oh, Jesse Buckley.
Jesse Buckley's real good.
over Nomi.
Yeah, and
Merlant.
Wild Rose. Yeah,
She
I would
sings.
put her over
She
Normie,
sings
yeah.
too. You
And
know?
she sings
does.
really incredibly.
Sorry, Taron Egerton, but this is the singing that matters. She's
I
singing.
agree. I like this more than Taron Egerton and
Yeah.
Rocketman.
Like, I think it's cool if we nominate Jesse Buckley for Wild Rose. I think that's a cool more out of left field pick.
Yeah, it'd be better than the nom she has already currently.
Mm.
Yeah.
I forgot that you hate that movie.
I don't like it.
Which
Grace,
one?
Lost Daughter.
Lost Daughter.
The
Oh,
Lost Daughter.
good movie.
I like that movie, but I'm not so sure about. She didn't need an Oscar nom, but I love her. So
I'm really
Netflix sent out wine for that movie. That was fun.
yeah, it was good wine too.
didn't make any sense why Amazon sent out a bunch of like champagne flutes this year for challengers and didn't send out any booze. So weird. Like, come on. Or some churros or something. Come on. Like, campaigns are getting real boring now.
Churros is what they should have sent. Let's
Yeah.
be honest.
They
or
really should.
or a banana. Heyo.
Mm.
So, all right. Sounds like Lupita Nyong'o for us, Elizabeth Moss for Her Smell. God, I hate that title. Florence Pugh for Midsommar, Jessie Buckley for Wild Rose, and Saoirse Ronan for Little Women. Who's our winner? Sophia.
Hard.
It's hard. We have a really good category, but I'm going Lupita Nyong'o in Us. I think it is a brilliant performance, and to see her embody those two characters in the way that she does is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
And it's also, I think, I mean, the degree of difficulty on the role is insane, but it's also such a change, or it would be such a change from what she won her supporting actress Oscar for. So I would go with Lupita.
Give her 2. Lupita.
Mhm.
It's my winner. Was it the winner that year? It's the winner
Wow.
still now. I love that performance. I think that it's one of those, it's all encompassing. Like Sophia said, it's the one where you sit there and you go, thank you, Jordan Peele, for seeing the potential of this great actress and giving her something she could fully sink her teeth into. You know, we talk about horror performances that don't, get recognized a lot. We talk about, obviously, women of color that don't get recognized with performances like this or get the opportunity. And she just knocked it out of the park. And she's the poster of that film. She's the final image of that film. She is that entire film to me, and it hinges upon that performance. And yes, and, I know that it is not as tight of a script as Peele's other two films, but it has the best performance that lies inside of his work so far. So I give it to Lupita. Jay?
I think that is like easily his worst movie. It's
Well,
still pretty good though.
Yeah.
And she's awesome in the movie. But nevertheless, I'm gonna take the burden off of her shoulders. I'm going Saoirse. Saoirse gets the win.
It's a
It's
great
just-
performance.
It's just
He's
worth
so
it just to
good
hear
at
his
it.
impression right now.
Yeah.
Oh, reminds me of home. Oh my. Saoirse Ronan. She's incredible. Like a star performance in that movie.
That would be my runner-up in terms of just, yeah. I mean,
Me too.
that scene, everybody knows what I'm talking about. Where
Yeah.
I'm so lonely. That is
Women.
women. That's what
There's
this.
minds.
They have minds too.
And that was the lesson I learned watching that movie.
Good job,
Good
Jay.
on
I'm
you.
glad you learned that. I'm glad that you learned that. You're now better for it, buddy.
What
Thanks,
women
Saoirse.
What yes, what women
What
want.
women want.
Before that, my
indeed.
entire worldview was shaped by Mel Gibson and What Women Want. Little Women was a real game
Some would
changer.
say it actually still is. But Dan,
I said it in that year. I continue to say it every year since, and I say it now. Lupita Nyong'o's voice work alone in this movie should have secured her the Oscar. I mean, what are we even doing nominating other people? Just give her the fucking award. It's
She's awesome.
so far above and beyond what anyone else was doing this year,
Mhm.
She's
regardless
awesome
of
in
category.
general, awesome in this movie.
Mhm.
yeah, very much awesome in general.
Yeah.
She was great. And there's great voice work this year in Wild Robot.
Wild Robot.
She should
Mhm.
get
Oh
more
my God,
opportunities
yes.
like this.
Yes.
Wasn't that terrible
She was
zombie
great
movie
in
she was in?
A
Little
Quiet
Little
Place Day
Monsters?
One.
Little
That was
monsters.
tough.
Yeah, that was cute.
She's good in it though.
Josh
Yeah.
Gad committing
Oh.
crimes.
Did
in
you
that
not
one.
want to? Did
Oh
you
my
not want to
God.
nominate him, Jay? So, your guy, Josh Gad,
He's
Alright.
a war criminal on the levels of Aquafina.
for
I
that,
will
and
not
also
hear a bad word against Olaf the snowman. Okay.
Oh, that-
I like Olaf. Actually.
Jay's like, I hate Josh Gad. Love me some Olaf.
Love me some Olaf.
Oh my God, Lupita, she has an Oscar, second Oscar. She already had an Oscar,
Lead Oscar.
lead Oscar.
Mhm.
All right, best director, Dan.
The winner was Bong Joon-ho for Parasite, and the other nominees were Martin Scorsese for The Irishman, Todd Phillips for Joker, Sam Mendes for 1917, and Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Layup.
And I think I know who we're all getting rid of.
I was
Layup.
like, is this
Let's
our
move
easiest
on.
Home
hair
run.
to cut?
Todd Phillips, Sam Mendes.
Bye.
You didn't
See you
have
later.
you didn't have any impact in that speech, and you're not having an impact today. So just kindly see yourselves out, guys.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right,
All right, so who replaced him with? Celine
Right.
Sciamma, Porsche Chevrolet on fire.
Obviously, right?
with a
That's
My
bullet.
number one.
With a
Yeah,
bullet.
number one.
Yes. All right, now I get
So
stuff.
yeah, there's plenty of other options too. I mean,
Right.
Terrence
This is-
Malick. All right,
Yeah.
no, I'm probably not going to get him in, but that would be my
Terry?
next pick. Terry.
We talked about it a little earlier. The Safdies for Uncut Gems for me. The
Incredible
direction is
stuff.
what really makes that movie work.
Yep.
Mhm.
Greta
I'll
Gerwig.
throw out Greta Gerwig for Little Women.
Greta.
I'll also throw out Ryan Johnson for Knives Out. The
Mhm.
way that movie moves is really good. I love that he brought back the all-star murder mystery.
Pedro.
Not- Pedro. Yeah, not going to get him in, but Todd Haynes I think does remarkable
Mhm.
work with Dark Waters.
That movie's cinematography is incredible.
Christian
I-
Petzold for Transit too.
Yeah, for sure.
I will not get him in, but Gaspar Noé for Climax.
Yeah, you're
You
not
are
getting
not
that.
getting
Oh,
in.
not with this group.
Nice
Come
try,
on,
Dan.
Lane. I had to throw him out there because that movie. Woo,
It's definitely a thing.
Claire
it is
Denis.
directed. Oh,
Claire Denis for High Life. Robert Eggers, The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
yes. Maddie
Uh,
Diop for Atlantics.
James. Did someone say James Gray for Ad Astra?
No, but
No.
good flick.
All right. I know I will.
Jennifer
I'm going to
Kent
mention.
for The Nightingale.
Yep, and I'm going to throw out, even though Jay will shoot it down immediately, is Jordan Peele in Us.
It's a well-directed movie. I think the thing that lets that movie down is the screenplay.
Yeah, but I think that it's an elevation from Get Out to Us in terms of direction, and then he takes that to the next level in Nope, which
He's
is
one of the best like mainstream directors we have.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Nope rules.
Nope, absolutely rules.
Ad Astra
Stephen Knight for Serenity.
Of course.
Ari Aster. I called him.
Yes, Ari Aster, absolutely for Midsommar. Yes.
Clint.
Marielle Heller for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Did you just say Clint Eastwood?
I did.
Okay.
We'll just move
Just
on
wanted to make
past
sure.
that.
Just wanted to make sure we didn't forget.
I thought that went by without anybody hearing.
Nope. Nobody.
No, I would not put him in.
Dan, did you say Marielle Heller just to put her
Yes,
out? Okay.
Marielle Heller for A Beautiful Day in the
Honestly,
Neighborhood.
there's an argument for Mangold.
Perfect direction.
Mangold, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
For
You know, I
44.
love Joanna Hogg for The Souvenir. Just mentioning won't get enough votes. That's okay.
All right, so I
Asif
think
Kapadia directed Diego
Was that
Maradona,
Maradona this year?
yeah,
Yeah.
documentary. It was great.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
okay.
I think documentarians should be nominated too, guys.
I think it's between Gerwig and the Safdies.
Oh, this guy named I know you can't double nom, but this guy named Martin Scorsese also had Rolling Thunder review of Bob Dylan's story by Martin Scorsese. One of the best documentaries of the year.
Okay, sure.
I would double nom in a
I-
heartbeat if I
that's-
could.
That's a good movie.
I do love that.
Yeah, sorry.
It's better than the one
Because-
that just came out.
What, the doc? Or
The doc is better than A Complete Unknown, since we're on Mangold as well.
okay.
Are we?
We don't need-
Are we? Do we think it's between Gerwig and the Safdies?
I think so.
The
'Cause
impression
we
I
all
got-
said Siama, that she's in.
Siama's in.
Yeah.
Yes.
So who is everyone's next pick? Let's go around the horn. Mine is Malik, but I'm
Marielle.
not going to bother with Malik. I would go Safdies.
If I'm picking from everyone, my second pick is Marielle Heller.
I would go Gerwig, but I am fine with quite a few others. But she would be
Yeah.
my next.
Ryan. Okay.
He's
Okay.
he is.
All right.
visiting.
So
Okay, we can throw out whoever
can-
Ryan.
yeah.
We can just come to a decision, and Ryan has
This
no
is when I talk
say.
about how much I like Rolling Thunder Review more than A Complete Unknown. Just kidding. I think, yeah, I mean,
I mean, can we retroactively give it to Todd Haynes for I'm Not There? Like somehow.
that, yeah.
just because Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Now we're just talking about Bob Dylan. I mean, I think, yeah, if we were kind of, I think, between Gerwig and the Safdies. Was that right?
Ryan,
Do we
who would
wanna
your
kinda
next
go
one
there?
be?
Oh.
After Siama.
After Siama, yeah.
Oh, that's tough. Either, I mean, it's like a three-way tie between the Safdies, Gerwig, and Pedro Almodovar, who I would throw in there.
That's not very useful, Ryan.
I know it's
Well, it
not.
sounds, okay, so it sounds
Doesn't
like
have
we're
much
between
utility.
Gerwig.
You know what?
Gerwig
Fuck
and
it.
the
I'm gonna
Safdies,
say Greta Gerwig. That's who I
Okay.
would give it to.
All right, so that's 2 for Gerwig. I go Safdies. Dan, do
I
you
go
have a strong
Safdies.
opinion? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Great.
So
Perfect.
split the difference. Give it to Almodovar, and we call it a day. Right? No, that's not how it works.
No.
You
know,
this is hard. I mean,
I mean,
we Uncut Gems has no representation.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
we gave
Do you want
Greta
Julia Fox?
You know what?
play.
Yeah,
we
she
did
got
give
no-
Julia Fox a nom. You're right.
we did nominate Sandler too.
Mhm.
Did
So
we?
you're like,
Okay.
you're like,
Well,
oh, never mind.
let me do the narrative so that I get my way again.
I honestly, if we want to go Safdies, I'm okay with that
I'm
too.
okay with that
Yeah.
too.
I
They'd be
actually
next for
think,
me. And it makes sense with direction.
yeah,
That's a
that
very
too.
directed
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. Little
Greta-
Women, I feel Greta's achievement is much more with the writing than the
Yeah.
directing, although her directing is
Her
good.
directing is-
Yeah,
Her
it's an
directing.
achievement.
That's the best directing of
It's a
her
good
career
year.
so far. Yeah.
It's a beautiful work.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. So we have the Safdie brothers for Uncut Gems, and then Celine Sciamma for Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Yes. And then we have Bong Joon-ho for Parasite, Martin Scorsese, The Irishman, and Quentin Tarantino, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Dan, you can start
What a
this one.
group.
What a group. That's a great lineup, by the way.
Yeah,
job,
that's
folks.
a really good job. Us pat ourselves on the back. And as much as I do love Parasite, Celine Sciamma, hands down.
Same.
There is
Yeah.
not a single frame of Portrait of a Lady on Fire that I do not swoon over. And it really is her direction that makes that movie so special.
The movie gives me goosebumps. Like
Mhm.
it is stunning.
Flawless. She's my winner.
No, I'm just kidding. She's my winner, too. She was my winner 5 years ago. She's my winner
Yeah,
now still.
Exactly.
But if I had a runner-up, I give it to Marty. Because I
Me
think
too.
what he did in The
The
Irishman
Irishman really is
it's,
like,
yeah.
It's heavy.
just-
I think about that movie a lot.
Well, Sophia and I,
It's my
we did a Scorsese
Roman
series
Empire.
a couple of years ago, and we rewatched The Irishman and away from that year and took just a couple of years apart from it. It's just such a monumental achievement. And then you just, if you watch if you do the exercise and watch all of his movies, and you just feel the weight of what that movie is saying, mentally about his work. And so it's great. I love that movie. I love this batch of nominees. We did a good job. But yes, Celine is the best director. Easily. Should have been that year as well. Best Picture. The winner was Parasite, like we mentioned. Other nominees were Ford v Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, 1917, Marriage Story, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We have up to 5 replacements for this category.
Can we knock out 5, replace with 6? Or do we only get the 9 slots?
No, it's 10. There's 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This is a year of 10, right?
1,
No,
2,
no,
3,
I'm
4,
sorry.
5,
This
6.
is a year of
No,
9.
It was not a year of 10.
No, yeah, we only do not.
only get the 5. It's a 1-for-1 swap.
All right, I
Okay.
Okay.
was thinking already about how there should always have been just 10.
You're bad at this.
Yeah, I probably should get fired.
So let's cut Joker. We know
Joker.
that.
That's the
Jojo.
easy one.
1917.
Yep,
I would also cut Marriage Story.
Marriage Story.
Yep.
Yeah.
and Jojo Rabbit.
And Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, Jojo, Joker, Marriage, 19.
So that keeps Little Women, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Irishman, Ford v Ferrari, and Parasite. I'm good with
You got a
that.
crop. It's a
I'm
good
good
batch.
with I'm good with keeping the good movies in that list. There you go.
I think that makes
All right.
sense.
Yeah,
I'd say that's the
that's-
objective.
Yeah. And so
Portrait.
Portrait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is my favorite movie of the year. Favorite movie of many years, honestly, and I will continue to stump for it.
I'm good. Dan's enthusiasm for that one. I'm totally good putting that in.
I'm also
And I
good
feel
if,
like just-
that's someone's number one of the year. Like, if
Agreed.
that's what that would be your vote. Like, we can put that in.
If I had only one vote to give, that would be my one.
Put it
I would also
on.
say to add Pain and Glory and Uncut Gems. Those are 2 other really big ones. We have more
I
we
feel
can
like
decide
especially-
between, but
I mean, A Hidden Life is on there, but I know I'm not going to get it on.
I feel like given our conversation and the other awards we've given out, not having Uncut Gems in there would be really weird.
Yeah.
I agree.
Transit is one for me that I would put on.
Yeah,
I like Transit a lot.
rules.
I like Transit a lot too.
I would also stump for
probably
Knives
put that
Out.
on.
That would be fun.
So much fun.
So Portrait is on. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, I'm good with because of Dan's enthusiasm. If
Okay.
Dan has it at number 1, I think we should put it on.
It's very kind of you, Jay.
You got it. I'm trying to turn a new leaf.
Last Black Man in San Francisco.
I'm so done with that. I love that,
I love that movie.
Beautiful movie.
The
I'd
Lighthouse.
also go for
at
Booksmart.
Astra.
I also like Booksmart, Dan.
So much, like,
It's
and
fun.
teen movies like that just do not get their due at the Oscars, and those are movies that, like, you really do rewatch all the time just because they're good, and that one is really, really well
Jay,
done.
thoughts on Booksmart?
Booksmart's
Not for
I think
you.
I would put on Uncut Gems.
Sophia's right. It's not for him.
That was the conversation we had that year.
I have many thoughts on Booksmart.
The Farewell.
It is at times quite funny.
Yeah, The Farewell would be one. But I would stump for Pain and Glory.
So we have two more, right?
Well, yeah. So we have what do we put? Portrait, and
Beautiful
we put
Day.
in A Beautiful Day. And so we have two spots. I would stump for Pain and Glory myself.
I would vote for Joms.
And then
Joms.
I think that just might be it.
What if we just do those two?
I think that seems to be the consensus. So let's do Portrait of a Lady on Fire, Uncut Gems, Pain and Glory, and Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood alongside Parasite, Ford v. Ferrari, The Irishman, Little Women, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Sophia Ciminello, what is the best picture winner of 2019 to 2020?
I love our lineup, but I have to stay true to myself and go with my favorite movie of 2019, which honestly I haven't really represented too much today just because I love a lot of movies from this year. But my favorite movie of the year, I'm so sorry, Josh Parham, that you couldn't be here to hear me say this, is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's my favorite movie of the year, and I just remember the feeling I had when I first saw it and how I watch it every year for my birthday. It is, I think, as someone who loves movies, it's just a movie that makes me feel alive. And I think what they do with Sharon Tate, I know that people don't like it, but I actually find it really, really moving and beautiful to watch her go through her day to day. And that scene of her in the movie theater, Margot Robbie as Sharon Tate, watching Sharon Tate, is one of the most special things I've seen in a movie. And I know it's a divisive film, but I have to vote for it. And I can, again, I don't think it's going to go that way, but it is my favorite movie of the year. So that's what I would vote for.
Dan?
I already said it. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, my number one movie of the year. There is something just incredibly special about that movie. The moment of silence in it that just rips me to shreds every time. Chris Cooper in it is incredible. The whole cast is. And there's something very, very special about the tone that Marielle Heller finds in that movie that just wrecks me. And it is one of my go-to feel-good movies. I can't help it.
Jay?
Yeah, it's Portrait of a Lady on Fire for me. I don't think I've seen a movie I like as much as that movie since a new movie. I think that is a stunning, unique vision of a movie. Again, just totally gives me chills. So romantic, so challenging, masterpiece, in my opinion.
You haven't seen a better movie than that in 5 years?
Not a new release, I don't think.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, buddy. Okay,
I love
buddy.
that.
Wow.
Well,
My number 2 of that year.
my number 2. Okay. We're all picking our number one movies of the year. We might as well just get this out of the way.
This is a Tarantino podcast now.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Somehow we didn't let Pulp Fiction win 94, but
my favorite
Or
film of the year.
Inglourious Bastards.
No, Inglourious
Bastards
did
won. Bastards
did win.
And I'm glad that one
right.
won.
Oh, I thought
we
were talking
did,
about
yeah.
Oscar,
And I love
never
Once Upon a
mind.
Time in Hollywood,
Okay.
but it is ugh. I mean, it's a great movie.
It's
but
ugh.
It's good.
A movie you gave 5 stars
I love
recently.
this movie. I absolutely
good
adore
movie.
this movie. But the fact that we've almost given Tarantino Best Picture on the last 3 of these episodes is tough.
It's all about who's present for the recording.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
who sends in their ballot.
Well, I guess then I shouldn't say anything. It was just in this episode.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a great
Uh,
film, a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful
Mhm.
movie.
Thank you for undercutting everything, Jay.
You're welcome.
My favorite film of the year was and still is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it's one of the most rewatchable films I've seen in the last 5 years. I watch it all the time. I'm like Sophia. I at least see it once or twice a year. I think that it's Tarantino's masterpiece. outside of Kill Bill. I think it might actually be the second best film he's ever made. And it keeps growing and growing each year. I think you have these two performances. I think it's sort of the culmination of his revisionist history as well. As much as I love Inglourious Bastards and have grown lesser on Django Unchained, I just think that it's also his most mature material that he's done in quite some time. I know that people think that it's too lingering. I know that people think it's just people in cars. I know that people think it's this or think it's that. I don't care.
People in cars are great.
To be clear,
it's a good
most
vibes
people
movie.
like this movie.
No,
There is a
this is a very
minority
this
who
is a
really doesn't like
this is
this
a very
movie.
this is a divisive film.
I
It
disagree
is.
with you
It
on
is.
that. Ish.
I
It
think
is.
you-
I think people disagree on the reasons why.
Yeah,
but
I think
Yeah.
that I think
divisive,
people
yeah.
come up with multiple reasons why over the years, and I think that it's not a movie for everyone, but I love it, and I just think it's great, and yeah, it's the movie too that yes, I love Parasite, and I love Portrait, and I love all these movies that we talk about, but I always come back to this one, and I always find new things, fun things. It's so impeccably written. I know we gave Bong the screenplay. This is a great screenplay. Tarantino writes like nobody else. And yeah, I mean, we gave it to Hoop Dreams, for 94. And I think that this is a film that's aged better and is better in some ways than Pulp Fiction. I think that Inglourious Bastards, like that's Jay's favorite Tarantino. So, everybody has their favorites too. That's the thing about a filmmaker like that. But there's no denying that he makes films that speak to people, different times, different vibes, and yeah, I think it's a great winner, and it could have been a hell of a lot worse. In some of the films that we kicked out, that could have won, and but I am happy that that it is our winner and ends our year with this. So yeah, our winners were adapted screenplay, Little Women. Our original screenplay was Parasite. Supporting actor to Brad Pitt. Best supporting actress to Adele Haenel. Best actor to Antonio Banderas. Best actress to Lupita Nyong'o. Best director Celine Sciamma for Portrait of a Lady on Fire. And best picture to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
There's nothing that we awarded more than once. No
Once
film.
Upon a Time got two.
Got two. Oh, supporting actor and yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but that's a very diverse list.
Portrait got two.
All right. Yeah. Two. Yeah.
Oh,
Supporting
yeah,
Actress and
yeah.
director. Yeah. That's
I
good.
like that list.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Well, yeah. Okay. That is going to do it for this week's show. Dan Bear, can you tell everybody where they can find you and all your work on the internet?
Sure thing. You can find me on Twitter at Dance and Dan on Film and on Letterboxd and Blue Sky at Dance and Dan. And find my writing on Next Best Picture and Awards Watch.
Jay Ledbetter?
Yeah, Letterboxd, J Ledbetter, Twitter at Mr. J Ledbetter, writing Awards Watch, Director Watch podcast on this very podcast feed, where we are currently covering the films of one Nancy Myers. So check that out. And yeah.
Sophia?
You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Sophia_Sim, Letterboxd at Faye Dunaway. You can find my podcast, Oscar Wilde, wherever you listen to podcasts. We have an end of year release episode out this week on Baby Girl, Nosferatu, and A Complete Unknown, which was very fun. And you can find all of my writing, reviews, interviews, and more podcasts at AwardsWatch.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Ryan McQuade 77, and Blue Sky. You can find all my work at awardswatch.com, iTunes 5 stars, Spotify 5 stars. Greatly appreciate that on those reviews. Go to the website, awardswatch.com, sign up for the newsletter. Greatly appreciate that. Next week's show will be the end of the year show. Will be our favorite films of the year. The staff will come here and we will be breaking down what everybody's favorite film of the year is. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you all next time.